What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and welcome back to another episode of our playthrough of the Zwillingsturme event for Arknights. We're going on to ZT-5 next. So this is the fifth segment of the main part of the event. And I say main part because I know I've brought this up before a couple of times while I was playing, but after you complete like the main story, there's like these EX stages basically where they are more difficult. They're just more or less for completion type stuff. You can complete them, beat some more difficult enemies or more difficult stages and earn some higher rewards and things like that. But I usually don't tackle those even on my main account just because I know I've tried a couple of them and didn't really get very far or didn't do too well. So it's more or less lacking. My strategy is lacking. And, you know, even with Elite 2 operators, it was pretty darn tough. So it's one of those things where I'll need to work on that again in the future. But what I'm focused on, especially right now, is with the time ticking down on the event and only having a couple days left, I just want to try to get as far as I can in the main story and then take time to farm a couple of the stages so that I can get a lot of the resources out of the in-event item shop. So that's what we're going to do. And it's early in the morning now that I'm taking the time to try and record this next episode just so that I can get it out of the way and I won't be so tired and stuff as I've been the past couple of days trying to record late at night just because that's when my time was available for it. But it's a Sunday. I'm up. My wife's at work. It's time to do some recording. Have a little bit of fun. But we're going to see how far we can get with this episode and we will take it from there. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. First things first, let's take a look at these. I still have none of the... we'll come back to you. I have none of the fear. I have none of the fear yet, so I have not been able to do him or the others. All right, let's continue. Responsible for security in Weissenhof. Claims to have apprehended the instigator of the noise at the concert, but did not want me to meet him. The interrogation report he handed me was full of setups and lies. Right now, I'm more worried about the safety of this so-called instigator than the actual investigation itself. I've read your interrogation report. You want me to meet the suspect. You don't want me to meet the suspect, so can you please tell me how he caught your notice? What else do you need to know? Pain in the ass. He was sneaking around the scene, and infected to boot. From all my years of experience as a gendarme, I could tell from a glance. Those damn infected. I know all too well. Reckon more than half the cases around the city are caused by their ilk. He speaks with conviction, but his gaze is wandering elsewhere. He's trying to lie his way out. I need to ask him for more details to expose him. Okay. Could you provide me a few more details? For example, how did you catch him in the act, and how did you apprehend him? I saw him sneakily take out one of those vile arts units, and he started messing around with his little parlor tricks, which is where the awful noise came from. I caught him off guard, so I rushed forward and subdued him on the spot. His arts didn't do a damn thing to me. Ahem. I said a bit too much there. I've always been the type to keep things on the down low. He's pulling this out of his rear. The investigation revealed that before the noise broke out at the concert, someone witnessed him having a verbal altercation with an infected person next to him. You mentioned the infected. I'm curious what you think about Weissenhof's stance towards them. You know, how we see them at concerts all the time. They're a bunch of dirty connivers, especially at concerts. The grating noise of their breathing is an insult to music. I have no clue how the higher-ups can show them that much courtesy, but I ain't about that. I have a duty to use my authority to keep those lousy pests away from the rest of us. Let's see them try to disobey. The actual situation. The interviewee had a dispute with the infected individual. He maliciously regarded this person's refusal to follow his rude demands as a violation of his authority as a gendarme. Okay, so let me pull up my little chart here. So I'm thinking. Alright, so it's obvious that the guy, I have my chart up here now. It's obvious that the guy is hateful towards the... He's hateful towards the infected. I'm kind of thinking that probably plays more along with the anger and resentment, because he is angry. He's very, like, you know, anti-infected or whatever here, at least towards these people. So he resents them, he's angry with them, but maybe this would be because he's all about authority, desire for authority, you know, something like that. So let's give that a try. Let's try. If I can do this, I don't know if I have the stuff for it. Red, red, blue. Oh yeah, red, red, blue. Resentment. Okay. We'll connect those, and we're gonna use desire for authority. Let's see if that works. Yes! Alright. I need to open those resupplies. I don't think I've opened them here on this, or I might have at one point, but that was it. Okay. As the melody shows, you abused the authority of the Gendarmerie at the concert, arrested an innocent person on false pretenses when you failed to drive them out, and deliberately retaliated. Aren't you ashamed of your conduct? Ashamed? Why should I be? I come from a long line of casters serving the Spire for generations, but I don't have a shred of talent for arts, and I can't feel its essence, so all I could do was become a Gendarm. Yet, they can throw around their arts at will. Just from having a few rocks sticking out of their body, those disgusting opportunists. Ashamed of what? I rescued the framed infected, and the Gendarm Schimmel was disciplined. I was unable to garner any useful information from the subject and closed this line of investigation. Okay. Alright, let's try this one. Heavy arts book propped on her head, she works to maintain her balance, expressing that this is an effective method for recalling one's memories. Okay. Marlies is a student of an arts spire. She claims to have heard some noise at the scene, was able to determine it contains some sort of rhythm only. She can't exactly remember it. How about this? Do you remember what you were doing when you heard the noise? I was heading home at the time, trying to squeeze my way through the crowd, watching the performance. There were so many people there. I knew I shouldn't have gone to buy sausages in the evening. Even the shopkeeper was drunk. Well, that's when I heard that dreadful noise. Just as she was excitedly describing the situation, a book slides off her head and crashes onto her shoulder, falling open. A schedule slips free of the pages and floats down, every inch of it crammed full with various tasks, all related to studying Originium arts. Oh, I think I remember doing this on my main account. And she wanted to buy sausage or something. Do you all face such pressure to study? Pressure? Well, teachers always say that climbing the spire is a long and arduous journey, and that there are many scholars never make it into the Palace of Knowledge. Every week, there's always some lacking students leaving the spire. Given that I'm an elder, I gotta put in effort if I want to remain here. She scratches her head and smiles brightly at the end of her explanation. She's quite optimistic. I can help her remember. Could it be that you used the excuse of buying sausages to sneak out and relax? You guessed it. I had a report due the next day but couldn't figure out what to write at all, so I decided to buy a sausage and relax. Sausages are great. After that, I don't know why, but I really feel inspired when I went back and I felt way better. At the time of the incident, the subject was facing heavy pressure to study when a perfectly timed and delectable sausage brought her mood back up. Recreate her emotions with the proper music of the heart. Perhaps worldly desires are more suitable given her enjoyment of food. She was happy. There's nothing here that says anger, that she's sad, or anything like that. Pleasure? Joy and pleasure? I really hope. Maybe that. Let's try that. Compose tune. We'll try green, green, blue, and desire for worldly things. Let's try this. Yes. All right. Okay. As the melody reveals, you were feeling great after snacking on a sausage. Do you recall it now? Now I remember. I was chewing on my sausage as I walked, when all of a sudden that noise rang out. Then someone bumped into me. It was fine. I was fine, but my sausage wasn't. The person who bumped into me wanted to apologize by singing me a song right then and there, so the noise wasn't the source of the rhythm. Okay. And then we got this one. He looked surprisingly calm in the Gendarmerie interrogation room. Helmut is a skilled sculptor who made statues of Das Kaiserinnenfest at Lutenshoff's industrial area. He was seen acting abnormally at the scene of the concert, crying loudly, and was arrested by the Gendarmerie on suspicion of public disturbance. It was later found that he had no employment permit, adding to the suspicion surrounding him. Herr Helmut, I have a few questions. What were you doing at the time of the incident? I was looking along the road for my lost chisel, trying to find it before the concert ended. After I heard the dissonance, the Gendarmerie appeared, saying that I looked suspicious and that they were taking me in for questioning. There was no change in his expression. He came from a family of sculptors, and his grandfather was a guest at many spires, but the family went into decline after being rejected by high society due to their commoner status, following the ascendance of the twin empresses. Looks like you could have cleared your suspicion by explaining yourself. What happened? They asked me what I lost. I described my chisel, adorned with garnet and obsidian, passed down to me from my father. They said someone like me couldn't possibly possess such an object, and they were taking me away. He gave me a meek laugh and bowed his head, realized that he was not so much calm as simply numb. You lost something precious to him. Why did you cry? Did something happen? No, there was no confrontation, nothing. I just saw the growing crowd and realized I might never see my chisel again. I can't work, I won't get paid, which means I couldn't buy suppressants. I started crying and the Gendarmerie arrested me. The subject was looking for his lost chisel at the time of the incident and cried when he realized he could not find it. Okay, so this one's gonna be sorrow. He lost the chisel, so I'm assuming worldly things with that one. Let's see. Wouldn't say he was quite despondent. Maybe he's not apprehensive. Grief? I mean, well, grief, it's not like somebody died, but he lost something very important to him. Remorse? No, it wouldn't be remorse because he didn't do anything. We'll try grief. We'll just try, it's 3 blue. Worldly things. Okay. Sorrow. Desire for worldly. There it is. Got it. Okay. The melody reveals that you had nothing to do with the noise. I sympathize with what happened to you. I'm sorry that you couldn't find what was lost. My chisel was a gift from a noble to my grandfather. He was the best in town. When the city was renamed Zwillingsturme, my father was kicked out of the spires and I was ejected by the atelier. I had to work in the shadows like some kind of pest or vermin. I don't understand why. I secured Helmut's release, but he was a broken man. No useful information was garnered from him and this line of investigation was closed. He's the last one I have and I need fear. I need green. Yeah, I need this one that I don't have. So, all right. Whoop. We'll pick that up. And then we can go ahead and get started. ZT-5. Here we go. Here we go. Standoff. It was meant to be a sudden assault. The casters of Christ Hildensford would disguise themselves as musicians and infiltrate the Witch King's spire, while the armies of Erdenher and Sturmland would stay hidden outside through their enchantments. No one dared underestimate the Witch King's power, but the battle was nonetheless harder than anyone could have ever imagined. The army outside the spire was discovered by the Einwald Imperial Guard. The final wave of casters all died at its base, while the second wave was swallowed by the Endless Staircase. The only ones who made it to the throne were the twins, Grimmacht and her sister, Uigignod. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. I tried like a Google thing where you go into Google and you just type in like how to pronounce, and either it'll try to pronounce it for you using like the Google AI, or just they have like it'll generate a response for you, or it gives you like the top results. And I tried one that it got like the first part of the name. It didn't do the whole name. It was just like the EWIGEG or something, and it come out like Uijig or Uvigig or something, and it sounded really weird, so I still can't pronounce that one properly. So if I'm butchering it, my apologies, but is what it is. Excuse me. Black and red had always been the Urtica colors. From the entrance to its deepest innards, the spire was almost completely void of black tiles. I'm actually having a lot of fun. Whether or not my pronunciations are great, I'm having a lot of fun trying to provide voices to these characters. Even though I know they have voices technically, it's just fun to do this, to narrate. House Urtica's secret chamber lies underground, and it's very close to Sonata Spire, so we can make our way down through it. Herr Fremont has already left, and we must catch up. 9. Is something the matter? Go no further. The Witch King's Imperial Guard is here. You will die. The Imperial Guard? What do you mean? Folks from Hildensfurt never expected you people to win. They simply wanted the Sturmland armies to keep the Imperial Guard at bay while the twins climbed the spire. In their plans, all of you were meant to die. The Witch King, the twins, everyone. Tell your father and Ernst that the Hochbergs should not be buried here. Not in this spire. Herr Reiner, my father is dead. I'm the reason you're the only survivor. I'm the one who took away your freedom. Please, look at me. I'm Viviana. Did you perhaps mistake me for my father? Leave now. Leave Ludwig's Universität. Grimlock's envoy has passed on the Kaiseren's order. As an Empress's voice, you have more than enough grounds to terminate your mission. And to prevent the voices from going out of sync, Uigignod won't punish you for it either. Do you hear the commotion around us? It sounds familiar. This is practically a battlefield. My duties prevent me from escorting you out, but I can at least use my melody to forge a path through the chaos for you. 9. I will never forget how quiet and peaceful it was when we entered the campus. The young students' faces still had hope for what was to come. I can't let them become sacrifices to this conflict. While I'm nowhere near as strong as you are, Herr Fremont, I'd like to help as many of those weaker than me as I can. Herkenschorn's secret lies ahead. Uigignod said that the Das Kaiserinensfest comes to an end. When Das Kaiserinensfest comes to an end, you'll have another chance to choose. But once you've gazed upon the country's darkest, most hidden secret, all your other choices will immediately evaporate. I expected as much. But while I long for freedom, I can't very well turn my back on the people suffering right in front of me. Ironic, isn't it? You're just like your father. Yeah, I know. I've always known the kind of man he was. What's going on? Why are there so many people underground? They charged inside. It's not just Sonata Spire either. The Scholar's Spire next door. There are students everywhere. Stop them all. Don't let them block the stairs, or we can't chase. Did that? No idea. There's too much going on. I can't make anything out. Witch King's remnants. Listen to the extreme chaos, as well as the only melody that can be found within it. That is Herkenschorn's sigh. The final sound our king left upon this land. Back to Arturia. Supreme Spire, whose dark shadow on the ground causes all to shudder. Those who do not wish to be engulfed in darkness paddle their arms and climb staircases leading up. Pitch black will hangs over the throne in silence, awaiting inquiries from other souls. Those who hide behind the curtains regret the demise of love. Those who lead the charge in others' stead ponder the meaning of heroism. Those who wade through the sea of their fallen comrades' blood lament the price of their sacrifice. All of them now gather at the far ends of this spiral staircase to witness the birth of this melody. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. Hexenkönigs. Something like that. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. It's the Witch King's army. They're charging toward me. Casters pouring in through catastrophes, Originium piercing entire cities. Help! I don't want to die, but I might as well. Please burn me to ashes. I don't want to be crumpled into a living ball of flesh. That's such a weird paradigm right there. He's like, I don't want to die, but then, I might as well. Burn me. Like, dude. Like, that's a little bit of a little bit of you know, how do you say that? Like it's way too quick of a change in, you know, personality and things. Like I don't know. It's just such a weird paradigm or dynamic there between the two of, oh, I'll live, but you know what? Screw it, kill me, yay! You know, like it's just very strange. Weird. I don't know how to explain that. Did you set yourself ablaze, you idiot? Fine. Everyone here has gone mad. The sound, the pipe organ. Are the Witch King's remnants performing? All of us are under the influence of their illusions. Who's there on the podium? All this blood, all these corpses. But who is it lying in the blood? Grimmacht? You can nod. It's you, the wicked twins. The rumors were true, weren't they? Your souls were cooked up by Sarkaz's arts, and your blood molded from the ambitions of traitors. You killed Leithanien's true king and took over her throne. You two were born to destroy this country. You're wrong. Grimmacht may be cruel, but she's not evil. And who are you? Another Empress's voice? Puppet carrying out the twins' will? Nine. She wouldn't let me become one. But I'm alive because of Grimmacht. I want to help her. I want to... Anyone who accepts a monster's reward becomes a monster themselves. Look at all this. Look at how far Leithanien has fallen because of you people. This spire, this school. Did you keep Ludwig's Universitat around only to impersonate us true Leithaniens? To pretend you still had the decency to respect tradition? I've had enough. I'm sick of the Empress's voice showing up at our lectures. I'm sick of the salons incapable of anything other but empty praise. Our history, our knowledge, and our arts are all long dead. Murdered. So we may as well die together. I'll kill all of you. What are these arts? Why can't I block them? No, is that a fist? Michael's eyes suddenly widen. More and more people rush towards Sonata Spire, by the minute, joining the fray as the music continues. Many of them set down their wands, choosing instead to use their fists, legs, and teeth. Is this still the Leithanien he knows? All the rhetorical tricks and combat tactics he learned, even Originium arts, have lost their effectiveness. Aside from cowering under his shield, there is nothing he can do. Right now, he is no different from the young boy he was when he had just left his hometown and arrived in Zwillingsturm. Please, I beg you. Kuigignod, I'll do anything. Please spare me. No, don't hurt me. Grimmacht! Grimmacht! Please stand. Who? Raise your shield and face it to your left. Okay. Help me hold this person up. A gendarme? Who is he? I do not know his name, but he is one of Loris Borden's subordinates. He was attempting to blow my head up with arts. And you still saved him? The third sculpture shattered. He was merely carrying out his duties. I see no reason to harm him. These men may be under the influence of arts, losing their reason to their most intense emotions buried deep within their hearts. Fighting them would be inefficient. I suggest instead quickly rendering them unconscious, as I have been doing. So this entire time, you've been knocking people out while making your way through the crowd. I have also attempted to place them in a corner to ensure that they won't be stepped on or struck in the melee. Danke, then, for not clubbing me the moment you saw me, then. I do not require thanks. Michael Wolf, you may be young, but mentally you are much stronger than most adults. I believe that as long as someone is available to provide you a hint, you will never lose yourself to these illusions. That is not necessarily the case for everyone else. Although I have yet to receive confirmation if it was Artoria's music that caused this chaos, then the abnormal behavior will continue until we end her performance. I'll leave this place to you, Michael Wolf. Call me Michael. I must continue ascending, Michael. This sound is very familiar. The staircase outside must be as chaotic as it was 23 years ago. Panic, anxiety, fear, rage, all these emotions caused by that non-existent spire. The Genesis Spire standing at the heart of Leithanien. When its sound can once again be heard far and wide, what sort of music will finally have in store for us? I'm back into the basement finally. I I think it's a basement. I don't know. They were going up and then they go down into this. I don't know. Herkenshorn, our one and only king. Your magnificence props up the spire, and your radiance shrouds the land. Your soul shines eternal, and your arts will never fade. All of Leithanien's wisdom and elegance gather before you. Your luminance and greatness are the pillars of her success. Lift your heads, all ye who prostrate on the land before him. Gaze upon our king's accomplishments, his glory. At last, the day has finally arrived. For 2 decades I've dreamt of walking up those long stairs and standing before this very throne. Fortunately, fate provided me the enchantments you left on the Goldenisgeschatz. Today, very soon, your final melody will be performed. Herkenshorn, Leithanien's most supreme ruler. Allow me to once again seek an audience. Allow me to seek your forgiveness. Good boy, Franz. I apologize. I had no choice but to knock you out. Does your head still hurt? I would have thought you'd have plenty of questions for me. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the look. You're in pain, but unwilling to give in. Even lying in sludge. You'd still look upon your betters with scorn. My betters. All I see is a flock of madmen putting on a show. Your ramblings are even less worth listening to than the noise in my head. You believe us insane, and that we've mistaken you for the Witch King, and so we repent and kneel before you. What a shame. Even I had hoped that you could truly become him. If only our original experiment had succeeded. If only we'd found the way to perform the voice of the mundane right from the start. Then neither of you, nor the children, would have had suffered so. Then neither you nor the children would have suffered so. It was you? And to think I was going to protect you! You're coughing up blood. I almost wish my blood really were imbued with evil power. Then I could have at least burnt away that deceitful mask you're wearing. But I haven't even told you a single lie. When we first met, you'd yet to learn to walk. All you could do was sit on your mother's lap. Was she also a remnant of the Witch King? Is that what you wanted to ask? Are you worried that your birth itself was some sort of evil ritual? 9. Quite the opposite. But you wish it were, don't you? You want your entire life to have been a conspiracy through and through. That way you'd feel comfortable despising it. But that doesn't make sense, my dear Franz. Your mother was a respectable woman. She was a descendant to the Urtikas, part of the Witch King's bloodline. So to others, she was almost by definition one of his remnants. Before she died, she entrusted you to a friend, an old servant of the Witch King, and to protect you, he too was killed by the Empress's voice. Would you scorn them as well, even though they truly loved you? So after taking away my love, now you tell me I don't deserve to hate either? You want me to be nothing more than an empty husk, all the better to squeeze that old fart into me. Huh. Just try. The Witch King's whispers, his robes, his crown. What else is there? Don't worry, my child. When Herkenshorn's power arrives, he will end your cruel fate and heal you of your scars and pain. I thought I told you to let him go! So you chase after us after all. It must have been hard to make it past all the enchantments outside, no? Blessing! This is my responsibility and I don't give up! I'm surprised you were able to cleave through my defensive enchantments. I sharpen my sword with arts every day. I make sure it's as solid as my will. Your sword, it has a special enchantment that specifically targets traditional Leithanian arts. Did the professor teach you that? Has he always been prepared to make an enemy of Leithanien? The old man's never been one to pick his enemies, and neither do I. Our enemies crawl out of the shadows on their own. Just like you, Gerard. I never expected to point my sword at someone who was once my ally. We don't have to be enemies, Lessing. The Myers have served the Urtikas for generations. As long as you're willing to stand on our side and help Franz, there will always be a place for you by the throne. The throne. All I see is a musty old chair. My grandfather, my parents, all of them have been held hostage by that chair for far too long. Why should I repeat the same mistake and bind myself to it again? Well said. Those unwilling to be bound by the past will always try to seek out a different fate. Like you and like me. Concertmaster has started the performance. It's almost time. No one can stop the advent of Herkenshorn anymore. There's Lessing. Herkenshorn isn't the one sitting on that throne. His name is Ebenholz. And it's my duty to bring him back with me. As long as I live, nothing will stop me from reaching that battered chair. It doesn't matter how many men you have. Come at me. Guess it's Vakta. The melody has begun. Not even you can stop its flow. Perhaps not. Your sword is reverberating. It's useless, Gesichtsvachter. You may be able to chain down a single man's mind, but 100? 1,000? Your melody will be drowned in chaos. Much like how the Gesichtsvachter were unable to stop the melee at the foot of the Witch King's spire 23 years ago. If so, I will kill chaos itself. His longsword pierces not his enemy's chest, but instead the ground beneath them. Golden radiance surges from the blade, drowning out even the Gesichtsvachter's armor, then dashes towards the sky to form a webbing, the color of the setting sun enveloping Sonata's spire within it. All sounds within reach of the arts are drowned out, leaving nothing but the solemn melody reverberating in the air. Gotta plug in my mouse. There we go. A golden curtain. Those arts should take at least 10 Gesichtsvachter to cast. How did you manage it all on your own? Harmony of the Goldenisgesatz is inviolable. Today, no one outside Ludwig's Universitat will hear a single discordant note. I swear by my flesh, blood, and soul, not a single remnant of the Witch King will leave this spire alive. You and your arts must be extinguished here. The melody's changed again. There's Fremont. Gerard. Took you long enough, Professor. I'm sure killing us Leithanien casters would be a simple matter for you. But as always, you're unwilling to dirty your own hands. How many times do I have to tell you? Us liches are just the keepers of the Palace of Knowledge. We bring our wisdom to the different races to advance the development of arts, but we never interfere with the country's own affairs. That was the court of the Lich King's contract with your ancestors, and it is the Lich's creed. I understand all too well. A group of Sarkaz living in Leithanien's most ancient spire, in the seat of her power. No Leithanian would willingly accept the truth. I'm quite jealous of you, you know. Even against Herkenshorn. All you did was provide the enchantment that molded those twins. You didn't need to bear the responsibility of changing history, nor did you stain your hands with the blood of your closest friend. I don't get what you're thinking at all. Years ago, you're the one who tried to convince me to stop Herkenshorn, but now you're mingling with these third-rate wannabes. Yeah, because I changed. And you're the one who changed me. You had me research the Goldenisgesatz and think on Leithanien's history. I did exactly as you asked, but the deeper I got into my research, the more I despaired. Herkenshorn's accomplishments were simply too dazzling. He resolved the Syracusan problem and saved Leithanien when it was on the verge of breaking apart. He crushed Corsica. Corsica I, or Corsica I, whatever, and prevented us from being a Gaulish vassal state. Only through his presence have we thwarted every existential threat to this country. Again and again. We had such a great man on the throne, and we killed him. When did I ever tell you to read up on how great Herkenshorn was? Besides, what does his greatness have to do with killing him? With him killing so many Sarkaz and Leithanians alike, turning this country into a smoking hot mess and plugging his ears to anyone else's opinions. I had you study the Goldenisgesatz because I wanted you to have a more open-minded outlook, not to pour over every trivial growing pain every nation goes through. Hardships happen, and everyone goes back to their lives. But somehow you ended up caught up in this nonsense. How can you even consider this when so many have died? Because I can't see them, Professor. I'm not like you, Sarkaz with control over even death itself. When we die, that's it. We become a speck of dust on this land forever. The dead can never feel my hatred. All those years ago, I was the one who persuaded them to fight. I sent them to their deaths in the Witch King's spire. If that battle had never happened, he wouldn't have died. Neither would they. You idiot. And that's why you want to resurrect him? You can't possibly think that when you do see him, he's going to praise you for this? Or even comfort you? He wasn't some kindly old grandfather who sang nursery rhymes to dumb kids. He wouldn't even spare you a glance. He'd treat you as a speck of dust dirtying his floor. You still don't understand a thing. A selfish and cowardly man like me. Everything I do to seek my own forgiveness. That thing you're holding, the missing Goldeneskashats. More precisely, it's the lingering trace of Herkonsorn's power he left in the Goldeneskashats. You want to use his arts by force. Don't be stupid, Gerard, you can't do it. I've come too far not to. I don't want to regret this a second time. Flame rises so black and so red, it seems drenched in blood. The walls of the chamber tremble violently. Originium crystals sprout and grow from every crevice between the brick and tile, even piercing the ground's foundation. Here comes the black flame. Ebenholz! Hurry, Gerard's going to destroy this whole school. Witch King, the voice of the mundane, it's boiling in my head. It'll be free soon. That's not the voice of the mundane reacting. It's not? I don't know who first got it wrong, or maybe Gerard has given up on summoning him through you entirely. Herkonsorn's power isn't originating from your mind. You aren't the key melody here. Key melody? Or key to the melody? Yeah, aren't the key melody. Arturia. You're a little later than I expected. Is it because you were helping the Gendarmerie? You've grown soft. What happened to the Executor who would stop at nothing to fulfill his mission? The fourth sculpture. You aren't playing. You must be shocked, aren't you? Like I've told you, you don't need to rush to find me. Until my real audience arrives, I'm just a listener myself. You aren't the source of the illusions the men below are experiencing. I'm a little hurt. We've been competing against each other for how long now? But you still confuse the truth my music draws out with the illusions a con man would use. Besides, haven't you noticed? The people trapped in this spire have always hated each other. They've never stopped fighting. Isn't laying the blame for this chaos entirely on mind-affecting arts also a form of running away? Leithanien's affairs are not within the purview of the notarial hall. My primary targets are limited to you and your accomplices. Who is manipulating the sculptures to protect you? An avid listener of mine. You arrived a bit too late. Just a little earlier, you could also have had a front row seat to Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. The fifth. Arturia, I am well acquainted with every crime you have committed. Your arts have affected a variety of regions and social classes, but you have never actively participated in political conflict. Do you remember my mother's funeral? How I freed the emotions everyone had kept hidden in their hearts. It was the first time I realized how easily others fell into my melodies. But that brought me no joy. Quite the opposite. I was disappointed. Powerful emotions should give rise to more than just chaos. Emotions are meant to bolster our souls, to allow us to overcome any obstacle, even our predestined extinction, which is why I came here in my search. Sixth. If you're looking to perform for the Witch King, then you will never succeed. He perished long ago. Your melody has no effect on the dead. It would seem you're a little mistaken about this performance. The shadow over the throne was dispersed, and the twin heroes walked out of the spire to the adoration of the masses, while those who stayed put are still waist-deep in the emotions they felt when they witnessed the mountain crumble before them. Der Tod des Hexenkönigs isn't about the Witch King. He was never the main character of this piece. Interesting thought. There's the flames. What happened? Why are we here? My hand hurts. Why am I bleeding? The stairs are shaking. Is the spire coming down? What's with the black fire burning from the ground? Help! These are Herkonsorn's enchantments. You've all come to your senses. We need to get out of the spire now. You're awake too. Candlelight. candlelight. There's Viviana. Here, this way. The flames. The whole Sonata Spire is enveloped by these black flames. I'll open up a path. With your candle's flame, pay attention to the shadow it casts on the wall. Shadows tearing the black flames apart. Yeah, this is the true form of my arts. You must be disappointed. They're not nearly as beautiful as you thought, right? No, mein Dame. This is stunning. You don't often see arts that can rival Herkenschorn's undying black flames. I can't defeat them. But as long as something truly exists, it casts a shadow. The most I can manage is to make use of this principle so ever so briefly create a chance to survive. Is something the matter? I was just thinking that I was your enemy until a moment ago, yet you aren't blaming me. Why should I? You said you're not an Empress's voice, and I have yet to formally enter the Kyostin's Spire myself. Here, you can just be you, and I can just be Viviana. We aren't carrying out the Kyostin's orders. We're simply helping out the poor souls struggling in this music. So please, take the students and make your way out as fast as you can. While they've recovered their mobility, I can still hold on a little longer. I can see golden light outside. Gesichtsvachter's curtain has already enveloped this place. He could destroy the spire at any moment. I trust that Herr Reiner will make the appropriate decision. What about you, then? My candle flame will extinguish sooner or later. Hopefully it chooses the most meaningful moment to... Oh, Viviana! Go, Michael. Please take care of yourself and these young students. Each of you has a future that someone like me could never dream of. This is the place. Surround the spire. Pesters from the Kyostin spires. That's right, Brent. Haven't I already said that? These are the Kyostin's orders. We are here to assist you in resolving the problem here. Good. Use your arts. Join me as an accompaniment. I will tighten the curtain. No, Herr Reiner! Step aside, envoy of Grimmacht. Will you continue to stand in our way? Your earlier behavior alone is reason enough to suspect you of colluding with the Witch King's remnants. There are still innocents inside. I see the students have all been evacuated and Herr Fremont wouldn't die so easily. But the Sancta and Viviana... Viviana is still inside? She's trapped by the black flames and stayed behind to save me and the students. Brant! This is our best chance to eliminate the threat. Once the ensemble is complete, your strength will completely annihilate the spire. Viviana will perish too. It was her decision to enter the battlefield. Werner gave his life for Leithanien. We can't let his one and only daughter follow in his footsteps. You promised Werner that you'd save her. We both did. Have you forgotten your oath? Have you forgotten your oath, Reiner? The blade and arts of a Gesichtsvachter belong only to the Goldenischasatz and to Leithanien. Doesn't matter how Herkenschorn treats his subjects. He is Leithanien's rightful ruler, as recognized by the Goldenischasatz. If you choose to fight alongside House Hochberg, you will be abandoning your duties as a Gesichtsvachter. One more step and you will be making an enemy out of all of us. Brent, why didn't you come save us? We grew up together. We were like brothers. I know you loathe the Witch King too. You despised his tyranny over Sturmland's citizens, and you hate how he turned your homeland into a battlefield and a testing ground. The Battle of the Four Emperors was years ago, and the skies above Sturmland are still filled with catastrophe clouds formed by originium shards. Many of our children are doomed to be born with those accursed stones. Why can't we resist? Why can't we make him pay the price? Is it because the Goldenischasatz dictates that he's the ruler, and that we are his attendants? 9. It isn't right for us to be born that way. If your power is merely dependent on some inviolable will, does that make your will, the Gesichtsvachter's will, fundamentally a lie? It's that lie that's forcing you to run away from your decision, as well as from your remorse towards the dead Hochbergs. Hochberg. Brent Reiner, make your decision now. Viviana. His body wobbles once, almost unnoticeably, then small cracks start appearing in the golden curtain. Resonance. At last, I got you. The 7th. All the sculptures have been destroyed. You no longer have a means to resist. Just a moment longer, my dear Federico. Do you hear that? Brent Reiner. His soul is finally opening up to my melody. His strong will has finally broken free of his restraints, and the surge of emotions will lead him to make the decision he will regret the least. This is what I've been waiting for. The truest climax of this piece. A melody so impassioned that it approaches piercing rings out from the strings of Artoria's cello. As though motivated by the music, black originium flames rise from the deepest depths of the earth and tear asunder the surface mere inches away. The Witch King's musicians standing guard at the foot of the spire all walk single file into the black flames, chanting even as they are incinerated into ash. The very spire that holds up the skies, the inevitable, indispensable, and eternal pillar, now rise. Something bores out of the earth's flesh. It is a high spire. It bears a red tint to its blackness, a spiral shape, and a strange sharpness. The long-lost Witch King's spire stands atop the land once more. Not for long. Okay. I do sort of remember how I beat this one.
Listen, everyone.
I believe.
Stay calm.
Oh no. That was a dumb.
Not one step backward. I'll show them what I can do. I won't sleep on the job. Freeze! Speed.
I think I've got to get moving to get a setup going here, and I don't have a lot of
You'll pay for that.
I don't really have a lot of power and stuff going on here.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hurry up.
We're gonna retreat red.
There you are.
Gonna put her there.
There you are.
Mountain's gonna go bye-bye, but that's okay.
Linda, this ends here.
I need her.
I'll show them what I can do. There we
Medic.
go.
I need someone else there, I think.
準備完了。心配しないで。やっちゃおっか。Hey, hey.
Oh no, that's right. This one stuns. Crap.
There you are.
Nope, shouldn't have done that. Sucks. This sucks. I screwed up. Alright, I'm gonna redo that just because I screwed that one up. I know, like, I kind of stacked the bottom. I put Jessica in a spot where she shouldn't have been. I need her lower to be able to fight. So, because otherwise she'll target the thing up top. And I put somebody behind that. I had her, and I had... Not Jessica, I had my, what's-her-face there? Exusier.
I'm ready.
I think I had Exusier, and I managed to get, like, Amiya or I have Fiala like right there, and she was obliterating everybody that was coming around this corner. Now we put Cruz here. I put somebody. I put Cruz. Or no, you know what? I had what's her face up here.
You'll pay for that.
Yeah. Mulesies. I had Mulesies up there before.
It's safe here.
Need my medic there.
What I can do.
I need Myrtle there just to gain my DP.
Here I am. This ends here.
Nope. I don't want Mountain because she will stun him.
Freeze! Ooh, almost like we're counting on you again today, little apple.
光がこの地を守り抜く。
Please, come to your senses.
It's taking everything to try and get them. I wonder if I put click here. That attack is helping.
There you are.
That's for sure. But now we're gonna struggle here because of this.
You'll have to try harder than that.
Darn, this is hurting bad.
心配しないで。
Okay, cool. I slowed them down for a moment, gives me a chance to heal.
Linda, this ends
I'm not
here.
destroying them quick enough. We can slow it down though now because I got that other enemy.
I have to get serious now.
Pull them, let's put Amiya here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think we should be able to hold out now. It's just a matter of slowing them down.
There
I can
you
pull
are.
Myrtle. Then, if I want to, I could put Mountain out,
Don't be
but
afraid. You can heal that wound in no time.
let's just let them keep doing their thing. Between Ami and these two, we've got the rest of these guys crushed. Because now we gotta wait on Cruz to fix this thingy.
I'm right here, Doc. I know what you're thinking.
See, now she's gonna attack
Pay for
them.
that.
The thing is, I've got to have her attack that because we've got to be able to stop them. Which I think I'm going to split them up here.
Aim.
Throw red out.
Skill.
It's fine.
Not one step
Just a
backward.
slight delay. That's all I needed.
Here.
Put Mountain out. Ah, I didn't want him to fight them. I wanted him to fight them, but that's all right.
Don't be afraid. Please, come to your senses.
Need Cruz to attack this, not them. Come on. Nope, because now she's hurt. Come on. Ah, I shouldn't have put Mountain there. This screws me. I screwed myself now. I screwed myself now.
Aim. Yeah, Joker.
Yep, I screwed myself now. Just because I should never have put Mountain out. At least not when I did. I screwed that up. Damn, I was doing so good. I was doing so good. All right, let's try that again. Ooh, excuse me. All right.
You people, I don't think I'll even remember your
All right.
faces after this one. Anyway, let's just get started.
I'm ready. I'll show them what I can do.
Maybe faced her up that way. Should probably do more. red.
Skill. I'll show them
Okay.
what I can do.
Myrtle for
Good scenery here,
DP.
Doctor. Freeze!
Medic.
Safe here.
What's the battle plan? This ends here.
I'll show them what I can do.
Hurry up.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Pookie.
Solid
Maybe instead of
positioning.
defender, maybe, what if I put
One step
mountain
backward.
there? Wonder if that would make any difference. 'Cause I can change it out if I need to, but I got the medic there. This mountain heals himself, plus with the medic. Ami, I can go here. Jessica's still able to fight. She can't, but
Don't
that's
be afraid.
fine.
Please, come to your senses.
I think we're doing pretty good here.
I'll show them what I can do.
All right, now we can slow it down again.
We're
Myrtle
counting
can
on you
charge me
again
some
today,
DP.
little apple.
And then I can remove Myrtle, and I can maybe put Click up. Up.
You'll pay for that.
Yeah, let's try that.
Almost dozed
I
off.
wonder if that would help.
Yeah, Delta.
Because Click won't attack that now, but she'll attack all these guys. She'll attack everybody coming by.
Everyone believes in me.
Oh my, yeah. Oh my. Wow. Okay. So much better.
Aim.
So
What's
much
the battle?
better.
The power of the earth.
Let's go.
Hayoo.
And you know what? We'll save that. We'll save that for these guys.
Aim.
So this will put us to 20.
Hayoo. Not one step backward.
No! See, I wasn't supposed to do that. I'm an idiot.
Doctor, I can heal that wound in no time. I'll show
Oh, wait.
you what I can
Wait, it worked.
Speed.
It worked. Wait a second. Wait a second. Am I stupid? Did I? Wait, I accidentally beat it. Let's go. Wow. How dumb am I? I wasn't paying attention. I thought I was going to get crushed there at the end the way that was stacking up, but you know what? It worked out. What the hell is that? The Witch King's Spire? Is that the Witch King's Spire? The Witch King is back! That terrifying tyrant! That evil caster! He's back! Stop! Don't turn back! Don't push! Where would you even run? This is the punishment that the great Herkenshorn is laying down on us. Aaron, what are you doing? You're attracting the flames! It's all over anyway. Why even bother lying to ourselves anymore, pretending to have dignity? Put out the fire! Put it out! Information! No, it's coming this way. The entire school is... There's no stopping it! I love that animation. The black flames engulf everything in their wake. Laughter, sobbing, nothing is spared. As the sound of thunder rips through the air, the thick layers of clouds above descend lower and lower, almost becoming one with the strange spire before them. Some of the older students remember the history books that they happened to have read. Deep inside the spire, the ones that went unburned, they said that during the Battle of the Four Emperors, Herkenshorn brought an originium storm that ripped apart the skies above the battlefield, swallowing an entire Gaulish landship fleet at once. And now, at the very same location, there remains a terrifying rift deep in the catastrophe clouds, the screams of the sleepless dead reverberating within. Herr Gesichtsvater, the curtain isn't going to hold. The students are all trying to escape. We can't stop them. Everyone has seen the spire. Sooner or later, the news will spread. Should we? 9. Lower the curtain. Concentrate all your energy on dealing with the black flames. It's not working. This assault was more than enough to decimate a vanguard of Casimirian campaign knights. Herkenshorn's enchantments are not so easily removed. As the legend goes, the way he used the arts was fundamentally different from other casters. During the Battle of the Witch King's Spire years ago, only the Kaisernen were able to perform their melodies unimpeded. All other casters' arts failed. That spire. We must lay siege to it and take care of the problem at its source. Brant, do you hear that? The lightning has stopped. She's here! We're saved! Everyone, defend! Clouds begin to crack. Flash of purple. There is no sound, no shaking, and no omen of any kind. A bolt of purple-black lightning simply crashes down from high above. Likewise, it is not accompanied by any kind of flashy explosion or shocking roar. It merely pierces the spire's body and crushes the seemingly impenetrable tower layer after layer from top to bottom. By the time the first piece of falling rubble reaches the ground, the reborn Witch King's Spire has already ceased to be, as though it had never existed in the first place. Finally, the earth starts trembling, as though reacting to the spire's fall. Behind the wall of arts conjured by the Imperial casters, the crowd stands in terror. With their eyes wide open, at the highest point of the ruins, they see a figure holding a sword, emitting purple-black sparks of lightning. Grimacht. Herkonshorn's shadow will no longer be permitted to shroud Leithanien soil, especially not that of a fake. We're certainly dealing with a fake, but it's really quite remarkable how easily his expectations were shattered. A shame, she's just like her blonde twin. Their souls were molded with arts enchantments, and I'm afraid there are few ripples that I can perform with. It's over. What your plans were for the Gesichtsvaktor is now irrelevant. You have failed. Is that so? Federico, you are as impatient as ever. The climax of a piece is never its end. Arturia spreads her arms and falls backward into the air behind the railing. Then, the remains of a sculpture lift her up, and she quickly rises even higher. I'll be waiting for you at the end of the stairs. What just happened? The chamber rose, and then I grabbed you and jumped. That's right, you jumped without hesitation, without even checking on your poor old grandfather. There's no way anything would happen to you. You heartless little runt. Mox really didn't hold back with her sword. If I hadn't pulled you two out in time, you'd have been buried in the dirt alongside all those masked men. What about Gerard? Is he dead? He ran. But he won't get far. His body can't withstand Herkonshorn's arts. He will collapse in no time, like an infected with rapidly deteriorating symptoms. So my body really can't become the Genesis Horn's vessel. This sound. Hello, Herr Scholar. You were waiting for me. Correct. I visited the school just for you. If you don't mind me asking, would you be willing to allow my melody to accompany you as you reach the end of your life? Danke. To a Leithanien, there's nothing more romantic than dying to the sound of beautiful music. My only regret is that Grimacht came too soon. And I didn't get to meet Herkonshorn. He didn't awaken, and there was no one to answer my question. If he was truly so great, then why? Why was he killed by mere men like us? And why must I carry the burden of that decision? In the end, you remain tormented by regret. But, Herr Scholar, you have never truly been free. Why must you feel regret over past decisions? I'm not free. Your tattered, weary heart is now laid bare before me. I can feel everything you feel. On the night of the battle at the Spire, your heart was filled with spite toward the tyrant. But aside from that, there was also doubt. Of course, the man I was about to kill, Herkonshorn, was the rightful ruler of Leithanien. Then, what planted the seeds of that emotion? You mean, what influenced me to think that? Are you implying that someone was telling me to look up to Leithanien's king? I visited many places and collected a variety of music. I found that although each of them has a unique style, they all share some commonalities in their origin, and Leithanien's in particular is the most classical of them all. This country was born from a movement, a melody blending together 10 tribes with different cultures. When language proves to be a barrier, music is the only means to communicate. But why is that? Why would different wills produce similar experiences from the same melody? Is there some kind of power binding both you and us? Right. Why do conflict and crisis always repeat in an endless spiral? Why is it so hard to change Leithanien? I know. Your music is telling me what I've always known. It's just that power. It keeps me from finding it. The answer is in my hands. My teacher never lied to me. The golden melody, Leithanien's will. All of us Leithaniens are trapped. So it's true. I've never really had a choice. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. Thank goodness. Scholar realizes that he is once again standing at the highest point of Ludwig's Universität. This is the first time in 23 years that he's earnestly gazed at the sunset outside. The clouds are fluffy, and although they're completely soaked in blood, they yet maintain their original shapes. This is Leithanien's evening glow. Gerard Hoffman notices that his body and the Guldeneskasats have fallen together on the spiral staircase, while his consciousness drifts out the window with the melody and dissolves into the clouds. He has never felt so free. And he's gone. Stay quiet for a moment. I want to let his emotions linger at my fingertips for a little longer. I've heard that you call yourself an executioner. You've witnessed so many deaths, but have you ever truly touched the last bout of emotion that bursts forth at their final moments? An executor is more concerned with the deceased's last testament. You make the living believe that their wills will be carried out even after death, while I allow the most splendid emotions to live on in music. Both of us substantiate the meaning of having lived. We just go about it in different ways. I am here to execute my mission and nothing more. I have no need to listen to a sinner's sophistry. We're family. We haven't seen each other for so long. Can't you at least hold a proper conversation, Federico? Who's to say I won't die tomorrow? You intentionally put yourself in danger. It would not be entirely surprising if you did. I wouldn't find it surprising either. We're all bound to die. When we do, our bodies give nutrients back to the land and become a part of new life. This is the meaning of our flesh. It's the circle of life. But what about the meaning of our wills? When our consciousness fades, they will return to chaos. So what separates the living from the dead, one person from another, and us from the sunset and the breeze? It's our emotions, Federico. If there is meaning to our lives outside of our bodies, if there truly is something that can resist the destined chaos, then it is only this very moment, all that I feel, and the melody transmuted from those feelings. That's why as long as I still breathe, I can't stop playing. I am required to apprehend wanted criminals, but if necessary, I can also pull the trigger. Oh, I don't doubt that. It'll happen one day, and there's no doubt that it will be Federico Giallo who kills Arturia Giallo. But do you think that daylight can kill the dark night, order can kill chaos, and reason can kill emotion? Layering metaphors cannot cover up the essential truth. You are a criminal, and I am an executor. I pursue you in order to fulfill the contract that is my duty. You believe uncertainty to be a kind of emotion. That's why you're always seeking answers through rational analysis. But it's not your rationality that's led you to me again and again. It's your confusion. You saw and heard it yourself. Today, countless lives were lost in chaos. If only you'd followed my advice and given up on me, instead lending your aid to the envoy of the Empress. That envoy of the Empress. With your skills and how sharp you are, you could have easily found the one hiding in the shadows, manipulating the chaos. But again and again, you chose to prioritize looking for me. You are where my duty lies. I will not regret my decision. I know you won't. But look, now you've caught me. So satisfy my curiosity, Federico. Do you feel no satisfaction right this very moment? Seize her! So you people came too. Recover the Guldeneskasats as well. Arturia is my target. Herr Federico Giallo, executor of the Lateran Curia's 5th Tribunal. It's extremely likely that the Sancta before you has committed what amounts to the highest offense in Leithanien. So she must come with us for our investigation. I thought the Gendarmerie was in charge of the upcoming inquest. It's the Kaiserin's orders to take Arturia. Does that mean that you cannot guarantee Arturia will be dealt with according to the law? As I said, these are the Kaiserin's orders. I have sent a total of 27 explanatory letters in addition to repeating my mission objective to the now deceased officer in charge, Loris Borden. In that case, Frau Jonas, would it be possible for her executor to participate in Arturia's interrogation? That's not part of my orders. To Leithanien, Arturia is a most dangerous criminal. No one is to be allowed anywhere near her without Her Majesty's explicit permission. Then that includes you. What? Let's go. Will we meet again, Federico, before my consciousness fades away? They take her away. Jonas. They called her the cruelest executor in Grimmock's spire. How did she get here so fast? Did Grimmock... I'll talk to her. Herr Executor. Executor. I keep saying that weird. Don't you want to chase after them? If Leithanien can ensure that Arturia will never commit a crime again, my highest priority mission objective will be considered complete. However, as she said, I feel no satisfaction in this. Excuse me. It has become much quieter outside the spire, yet the black flames continue to burn. Viviana has forgotten which floor of the spire she is on. The spiral stairs all look the same. Her candlelight flickers a few times before finally going out. Bro, Drost. Pim? Why are you still here? I'm in pretty bad shape. At least this way I won't be a bother to the kids. You were burned by the black flames. Half your body is... It's fine. I'm glad I got to see you again. By seeing you, I can at least confirm that I haven't turned into some kind of monster that walks even in death. The disaster's been averted, right? The Empress's voice, the Gestsvachter, they're all here, right? Are the Witch King's remains all dead and the students safe? I suppose so. It's strange. I saw the captain just now. Loris Borden? He said I did pretty well and the Gendarmerie proud. Once the ceremony's over, my mother will get the Kaiserin's black gold medal. The Kaiserin's, yeah. But that's only for those who have fallen. It's hopeless for me, right? I don't want to lie to you. Mein Dame, when I see you looking at me like that, it doesn't hurt so much anymore. Your candlelight is so warm. When I first got to Zwillingsturme, I nearly gave up. I couldn't keep up with how exhausting the training was, day after day. Only when I saw that tiny light you held in the arena, lighting up every one of my... He did not deserve to fall into eternal slumber on these spiral stairs. If he could have just a little more light, a little more warmth. Viviana knows that she is not a lighthouse, but she is capable of that much. Auf Wiedersehen, Pim. May this candlelight accompany you as you drift into eternal slumber. Grimmock's envoy said she's just up ahead. Step aside, Cora. Let me take care of the rubble here first. Let me do it. You've already... Wait, those footsteps. Viviana! Frau Lowenstein. Herr Reiner. Good. Mein Herr? Let him get some rest. Raising the curtain by force took its toll on his body. But he's still standing. He'd never let himself collapse in front of so many. Prince really worn himself out all these years. Before the battle, he saw me as my father. That's always weighed heavily on his mind. 23 years ago, House Hochberg suffered great losses at the Witch King's Spire, and because of his position as a Gessertsvachter, Brandt wasn't able to come to their aid in time. Because of that, Ernst, his closest friend and the heir to the Hochbergs, perished in battle. That's also why your father, Werner, had to succeed him as Kurfürst. The remorse he felt towards Ernst and Werner has been eating away at his soul all this time, and today, when forced to choose between destroying Sonata Spire and saving you, he chose you. I never imagined. I knew he'd make that choice. I'd have done the same. I was so scared back there. I'm prepared to make any sacrifice if necessary, but you... not you. I'm glad we didn't lose you. I'm one of the lucky ones. On my way here, I came across many who've passed away. I did my best, but I wasn't able to rescue everyone. The casters will figure out how to eliminate the black flames. The victims will be taken care of. Things will get better. They won't have suffered for nothing. This place will be completely different tomorrow. I'll make sure you get to see that for yourself, Viviana. I promise. What a beautiful sunrise. Yeah. We know a thing or two about your arts, my dame. Now, neither you nor your cello are capable of making a sound. Silent humming. When I first saw that on my main account, silent humming, I'm sitting there thinking, how can you hum silently if you can't make any noise? Even to hum, like if you're going to hum silently or quietly, you're still making a noise. So silently humming, the only thing I could think of is she was humming in her head. Like, because how else are you going to... You know, you get it. I don't know. Made up your mind. The voice of the mundane. I've been dying to have someone take it away. If you've no plans to use it as a bomb, then be my guest. So you finally believe me. I admit I owe you an apology. And a word of thanks. If it wasn't for you, then I may not be the Ebenholz right now, but some other thing. But please, spare me all this nonsense about trust, or what have you. I'd rather not see you pounce on me and knock me out with your sword the moment I spit out the words I trust you. I wasn't planning to. For now. Well, that's nice. Someone's playing the cello. They're mourning the victims with music. It was just like when I first met Gerard. He told me that through music, the wills of the dead are carried on through us. He was so quiet and gentle. I really thought he was... I'm an idiot, aren't I? I couldn't even see through their masks. I couldn't even see who was controlling my life. Oh, I wish I could be more like. No matter how many obstacles he encountered, he never lost hope. He even smiled as he... This piece... What's wrong? Who's playing the cello up there? The dormitory isn't far. Maybe a student? That's impossible. Calm down. We can't expose ourselves yet. It's exactly the same. How could it be exactly the same? Sky is blue and fine. The breeze lilts by the song. The river murmurs clear. My heart is filled with hope. Who's that student? Where did you learn to play like that? Huh? I'm nothing special, really. Not your technique, you fool, your emotions. Where did you learn to play this cello piece almost exactly like he did? No one else played like him. I checked over and over. After he died, I've been to so many places and listened to even more musicians play that same piece. Who was your teacher? Arturia. My teacher's name is Arturia. She is Sancta. A Sancta with very long hair who dresses plainly. Do you know her too? I saw her just today. She told me to keep practicing here without worrying about the sounds outside. Without worrying about the sounds? That's Sancta. Is she a remnant of the Witch King too? No, that's impossible. She's very kind. Where is she? I need to see her. I need to question her myself. Another headache. Did you know, Lessing? He and I, everything in our lives was given to us by others. Our pain, our joy, our despair. So if even our hope, I don't know if I actually want that answer. If you thought it through. Oh, what is there to think about? The skull was burnt down by Herkamshorn's embers. I could miss it all I want, but that wouldn't bring it back. I've forgotten. How long have I been in Leithanien? 500 years? Longer? When I first got here, there was nothing. No nomadic cities, no spires, no nobles. Ha! Back then, everyone lived in the forests by the lakes. They lit fires to eat and used rocks to shelter from the wind. To us, a few decades are more than though for a city to rise and fall, a man to go from young to old, or a pair of close companions to have a falling out and go their separate ways. That's right. It's been but an instant since this place went from Vidunian to Zwillingsturme. I wonder what the city will be called next. And when that lamb with the rotten luck had a brain full of nothing but melodies is taken care of, I'll fulfill my promise to you. After that, I think I'll take a stroll around town. And once that's done, we'll leave. Tell the nobles they can have a good night's sleep for once. I've already explained it to them long ago. Explained what? That liches aren't like vampires and don't get involved with military commission business, so they can rest easy that this place won't be the next Londinium? Do you really believe they simply don't understand, Grimacht? Are you really so whimsically unaware of who stands behind those nobles that want to chase the liches out? You too can deal with the fallout afterwards. The liches have indeed stayed here for far too long. Knowledge should never have taken the side of any one nation or race. Do you even know how many Leithanien terms our brats use in their writing these days? It's absolutely outrageous. We should have left when Herkenshorn bought the farm. This is just a belated farewell. White-haired lich lifts his hand. As though having been granted permission, a large number of slender silhouettes appear beneath the setting sun. Perhaps they'd been standing there the whole time. They were simply masquerading as ordinary students and faculty. However, from this moment onwards, they are no longer concerned with how different they are from other Leithanians. The liches all raise their hands. Countless paper-thin strands of silk extend from their bodies and into the dark clouds up above. Then, a radiance like starlight comes falling down. Looking up, many of the students see the sunset, the night and the sunrise all at once. Within that brimming radiance, the dark flames on the earth are extinguished without a sound. Not long after, the silk-threaded shadows also disappear into the dreamlike rain. Ever since, no more trace of the liches could be found in Leithanien's spires. Let's go. Onward and upward. Alright, next is a little story piece. Let's grab some stuff here. What I can there. Alright. I'm gonna do some powering up to my squads and stuff if I can here before anything else. Right, so what I think I'm gonna do here is to save myself a little bit of trouble, I'm going to go through and get a bunch of money here saved up. I'm gonna auto deploy into the resource skirmish for the LMD. We're gonna go into cargo escort here, and I'm just gonna auto deploy a good bit in here and try and save up a whole bunch of money so that I can go through and try to upgrade my operators a little bit, because they're all like low E1s and we're getting to a point where I need some more power. I definitely could have used it in that last mission. It would have saved me a little bit of headache. So I'm gonna get a bunch of money, get a bunch of LMD here and get that taken care of just so that I can really push through and upgrade, because I have a bunch of certs or battle records and stuff that I can use to do some leveling up. I could really use it. So I'm gonna do this and we'll come back and do the story bit and the next stage. All right, so we're back and I went ahead and did a little bit of farming for some LMD, and I did a little bit of farming to use some points here. I used them to get the battle records and things out of here. And then I just took that and I went and leveled up my squads, and actually I didn't get too much done, but what I did was I maxed out Jessica and Cruz because my snipers have been very, very heavily needed, and very, very heavily featured on these missions so far. But I also went and took care of rank 7ing their skills because I didn't have those up for some reason. Jessica, I needed like 2. I think I had her lower for whatever reason, and Cruz was down at like level 3 or 4. So I took them and leveled their skill rank up and leveled them up to max. Now, obviously, Jessica could be promoted, but I don't have near what I need to actually promote her further yet. But she's in pretty good shape. And then I put a little bit of leveling into Click as well, because Click was the lower of my 2 casters right now. And, well, technically my 3, because Earth Spirit, yes, she's a specialist, or not a specialist, she is a support operator, but she is pretty much a caster. She's a ranged caster, and she causes slow. So out of all of them, Click was my lowest, so I got her bumped up a bit. So we're going to try and see if that helps at all, but we're still getting into territory that I'm going to struggle, and I'm going to need to farm a little bit here on occasion if I want to be able to get further in this event. But for now, we'll continue with the story. We have this ZT-ST-2, so we're going to go ahead and read through that, and then we'll try ZT-6 and see if we can manage to push through it. The rising of the Urtica's secret chamber destroyed the original plate of Ludwig's Universität. Coupled with the influence of Herkonshorn's arts, the school can no longer function normally. For now, the Empress's voice have taken over the cleanup operation from the Gendarmerie. Unaffected students and faculty have been relocated to neighboring Ostendorf. Ostendorf, right? Ostendorf. Okay. The cleanup will take about a week. Thereafter, they will be able to return to campus. No need. Ludwig's Universität's library will be relocated to Neu-Leopoldshof and fall under the purview of the Rijksmuseum. The other campuses and faculties will be merged into Rijkskunstakademie in Bachshof. The Gestsfaktor will be in charge of disposing of all the remaining plates belonging to Urtica. But then Ludwig's Universität will become history. Your Majesty, are you surprised? When I received the summon, I thought... You thought I would be Lacelot. My apologies. You did well. Lacelot thinks very highly of you. Danke schön, Your Majesty. If you hadn't graced us with your presence yesterday... It's behind us. No need to speak of it again. Your Majesty, there is one other thing. Oh? Artoria, the wanted Sancta, I bumped into her and she mentioned my father. I would like to know if she had something to do with his death, if you would permit me. We've been over this, Hochberg. The case of the Witch King's remains stealing a copy of the Godenischatz has been closed. Brant, Your Majesty, you are here as well. Have you come to see Cora? She is currently rehearsing the Godenischatz. The delay caused by the Witch King's remains has us all worried about tomorrow's performance. Rest assured, the movement is flawless at all times. Cora said the same. How long have you gone without a break? Why not take a vacation after the celebration? You could go back to Starmland together, not as a Rijksorchester tuner and Gestsfaktor, but as Cora and Brant. This is a reward, not a punishment. For mopping up the Witch King's remains, you and Viviana have done fine work, and I've taken notice. Just remember that opportunity does not last forever. Some things must be said before it's too late. Thank you, Your Majesty, for the reminder. And another thing. I need at least 20 Gestsfaktor for tomorrow's celebration. What? Does Grimmock know about this? Every year, Das Kaiserinsfest begins with the Reichorchester's performance of the Godenischatz and ends with my duet with Hildegard. I wonder, this year, will the people still appreciate our performance? I have no doubt, Your Majesty. Could I ask you a question, Brant? By all means. Assume your most prized possession has a crack in it. Would you turn a blind eye to it, pretend you didn't notice? You're going to leave Zwillingsturm. Arturia is under control. I will return to Laterano and report to His Holiness, the Pope. We will subsequently seek formal legal cooperation from Leithanien. Alright, but I should remind you, tomorrow's das Kyostinfest. Zwillingsturme will be very lively. Young people from other regions, even other countries, will all join in the merrymaking. Correct. I had noticed an increase in foot traffic. And so I want to ask, Herr Executor, won't you stay just one more day? Please explain why I'd do that. Arturia has been apprehended. A copy of the Gledeniska has been recovered, and the Witch King's remains have been more or less wiped out. It seems like everything's all taken care of, but I can't shake this uneasy feeling. Grimmox says I have a unique sense for danger. I mean, of course, it might just be my imagination. For matters pertaining to internal Leithanien affairs, I suggest you confer with your Empress. She's been too busy to see me today. So that's why you have time to escort me out of the city. I had assumed this was an official duty. A duty? No, it's not my duty to monitor you. And, having come all the way to Zwillingsturme, wouldn't you like to stay a bit longer, make some new friends, see the sights? Friends and sights. Are you looking at that coffee shop? I could try the drink Loris recommended before I leave. Her Sancta. You're Yulia's brother, Jan. Do you work at this coffee shop? Yeah, I need to save money so I can study abroad when I'm ready. I thought I'd never see you again. I heard that the executors of the Lateran Notarial Hall carry out the wills of Lateran citizens. Is that right? An acceptable summary. And you also solve cases? So long as it's part of a binding document, I will do everything in my power to carry it out. Wunderbar. Loris left me a key before he died. He said there were clues about my sister's case in his house. But I'm not a detective after all, and wasn't sure who to give this key to. This is the residence of Loris Borden. This is a home in Zwillingsturme. You've barely known Borden for an afternoon, and he left you this entire house? What he left me are clues to a case. Look, the wall, the table, the drawers, everywhere. These are all clues regarding Julia Schuler, the girl who disappeared over 10 years ago. And a letter. Loris claimed to have accepted defeat, but he never gave up the case. I almost forgot that you're a case-solving machine. Even if they made you a graph and granted you the tallest spire in Zwillingsturme, Zwillingsturmeshof, you'd hardly blink, would you? A false premise, that is. There is no precedent for a Lateran saint being conferred to a title by another country. And what do you have to do with Lateran sainthood? Are you suggesting that you, Herr Executor, bear the title of saint? Yes. Like the founders and the popes? I'm unclear on what you mean by like in this context, but nominally, yes. I may need to reevaluate our need to monitor you, Herr Saint. You are an executor to an empress. I had assumed you had some familiarity with my background. See, the way that they keep using that term, executor, whether it's, his code name or just the way that they throw the term around, using it as a name, using it as a title, it in some ways obviously gives the connotation of someone that executes another, kills another. They're there to take a life, a bounty hunter. But there's also a heavy connotation as an executor, meaning someone like when you think about executing an action, not the act of killing somebody, but the act of executing an action, doing something. And whether it's executing a will, whether it's executing the case, whatever the case may be, there's like a double connotation to the meaning when they use it as the title, which is pretty cool. It's just something I'm picking up on. I thought I did too. Do not worry. Whether or not I hold the title of saint is not particularly relevant to my work in Leithanien. My executorial duty is to capture Arturia, as well as executing the wills of Lateran citizens. As the Arturia case is on temporary hold, fulfilling the will of Loris Borden is my next objective. Was that hesitation? I've never seen you hesitate before. I still have questions about the Arturia case. What questions? I need to think. Federico looks at the piano to the side of the room. Like most Leithanniens, Loris had musical instruments in his home. However, judging from the many files and folders on its bench, he did not play the piano often. Simply tap the black and white keys in a certain rhythm and a melody will be created. People have taken such immediate feedback for granted, yet there are still many questions that once sprouted are pushed away unanswered. The piece you just played, is it the one from yesterday at Ludwig's Universität? Der Tod des Hexenkönigs. Artoria interpreted the emotions of Loris Borden and Brandt Reiner, as well as the others who witnessed the Witch King's demise. She turned their strongest feelings into notes, creating this piece. I want to know what she discovered in those emotions. The notes may be the same, but the feelings are so different. Herr Executor, are you and Artoria really related by blood? If misplaying an instrument were a crime, you might as well be arrested as soon as you step out the door. I did not play a single note wrong, but there was no emotion whatsoever. You can't grasp music by memorizing its rules. You have to, picture the emotion it conveys. For example, Loris Borden, you have to become him. Imagine the night he charged into the Witch King's spire. Picture how he became a hero, how crestfallen he was by Yulia's case, and you're finally forced to doubt yourself and find yourself wavering, lost like me. You'll realize that you need a strength, a reason, and that's when you'll discover that the law offers no guidance. Why do barriers never cease to be? Is mankind doomed never to understand one another? The tiniest chaos is enough to shatter the order. The moment confusion envelops, people begin to hurt one another. I wonder who Clement is. Oh, these must be people from Laterano. He's remembering voices and things. Each era has its own trials and tribulations. Yeah, Evangelista, that's the Pope. Okay. For which we can only prepare to the best of our ability. It is certain, however, that you have been chosen because it believes that you have the ability to respond to the unknown. You are well aware that there is another besides yourself, very unique among the Sancta. Bring her back if possible. I need to meet with her face to face. Fede, your whole life, you have been different from all the others. Can you really not see everything I see in the music? Excuse me. Thanks to Grimoct, both my ears and my soul have been saved. A failed attempt, I take it? Let's not try that again. We have to acknowledge that some people simply lack the talent for music. Yes, I cannot empathize with Loris or anyone else, nor do I see the illusions created by the notes. But I have realized that emotions are also information. That's typos, man. What do you mean by that? As you said, Artoria's performances are completely different from mine. The notes arranged in order have no inherent meaning, but with added emotion, they become a piece of music beloved by you people. And so I have come to understand that emotion is a kind of additional information. Artoria played her music, playing the hearts of Loris and others, to extract information from their powerful emotions that even they themselves could not retrieve. This is something only Artoria can do. Her objective has not yet been achieved, nor will she abandon it. There will be even greater chaos in the coming days here in Zwillingsturm. Are you certain? I could spend time explaining the finer logic to you, but I assess that you will find it difficult to share my thought process. As such, I suggest you consider my conclusion a kind of intuition. Herr Executor, there is someone you should see. She can help you. Congratulations, you're about to be rid of me. What? I shouldn't say such things? What would you rather hear? Mockery, anger, curses, or a seemingly invincible enemy pulled straight from a story begging for mercy before the departure from the stage? Don't forget, you wanted to see me. Whether you have doubts, you unconsciously seek out my voice. You want to hear me deny, and then, in denying me, you can win some silly comfort for yourself. It is not I who needs you, you need me. Bloodline of Ertica, Franz, Ebenholz. Without me, what does your future hold? It's done. What do you mean? What's done? I've removed the voice of mundane from your head. But nothing happened, is that it? It could never summon the Genesis horn in the first place. It's like watching a crowd of people nervously gathering to light a fuse and blow Zwillingsturm up, only to hear a soft pop like a gloom pincer's depressing fart. But you didn't say the melody of the Witch King. Didn't you say the melody of the Witch King could open the door to the Genesis horn? Yes, the right melody. Do you think that you can open a locked door with any old key? Don't compare my research on Arknights with the pile of rubbish they stuffed into your brain. Those idiots in their infected bombing couldn't manage a thing. Huh, the voice of the mundane. Do the people who come up with this stuff even know the difference between a proper creation and a belch? Was it Gerard who filled your heads with all of this? Would you mind if I dug him up and knocked him around a bit more? But they told me the voice of mundane housed the Witch King's avatar. Avatar? Avatar. That'd be like me rolling my soul into a ball and tossing it into the amphitheater beneath the spire for you stupid lambs to kick about. You really think that can be done? That's enough, boy. I'm in a bad mood. Positively rotten one. I thought by doing this one last favor for Grimmacht, I'd be able to take my things and finally be rid of the wretched place. Who'd have thought those masked morons would make a fool of me? No, they made me a whole circus. I should have Ermengarde look me over, see if a lich's age has any effect on his brain. He said, the voice of mundane is just noise. It is certainly a melody left by the Witch King, that's true. But Gerard and his men misunderstood its power. It isn't the key to the Witch King's legacy. Then what about the voice in my head? I don't understand the arts behind it. The problem of the voice of mundane has been resolved. You may still suffer headaches and hallucinations, but I expect they won't be as bad going forward. Just to be safe, you should stay here and rest a while, then leave Zwillingsturm after dusk Fest. So the voice is just my imagination, then. All these years and all of my struggles were just in my head, in a somewhat more figurative sense. Apparently I have nothing whatsoever to do with any grand plans of those lofty conspirators. And to speak of killing myself before I went mad. I've been mad for a long, long time. I don't have time to discuss this with you. Right. Your grandfather says the rubbish in my head tainted the research on Arknights, so why care about me? An inferior product. Particularly after we've known that none of his power lies within me. I can't summon a catastrophe cloud with a wave of my hand, nor can I cleave a spire with a swing of a sword. What do you want? The power is still there. Since you've removed the voice of mundane, why not kill me? The voice of mundane is not the key, meaning I'm of no use to the Twin Empresses. Why not burn me and mine to ashes, like all the experiments of the Witch King era? Because there is no need? Is that it? Then what about my brother? He died. He died because of a stupid plan, like, to borrow a phrase, like a gloom pincer's depressing fart. Such nonsense, such irony. He was grateful, you know, right up until he died. Grateful for our meeting, grateful for the instructor who taught him the cello. But our meeting was exploited by Gertrude. The teacher he admired was mixed up by the Witch King's remains. And now you tell me the voice of the mundane was all a wacky misunderstanding the entire time. So we lived, died, met, parted, all for what? Where's the meaning in any of it? Alright, if you want an answer, I'll tell you. You're right, there was no meaning in any of it. Set aside the Urtica name, without the voice of the mundane, you're nothing but a self-absorbed, self-harming, self-destructive empty shell of a pretty boy. Perfect. You finally did it. Now take up your arts unit. Why not unwrap the bandages on your sword? That would make the execution go even smoother. The man before me is unworthy of it. Even now you just have to then fight back. Prove me wrong by your actions. You loathe the bloodline of the Witch King, but have you ever sought out the victims of his persecution, to make amends, to help them, to compensate them? You loathe the title of Grath Urtica, but have you ever looked into the safety of the commoners, taken note of the decline of your domain, caught between the Twin Empresses and the Witch King's remains? You lament being the only survivor, but you have not been cherishing the life ahead of you. Instead, you constantly throw yourself into danger. You say you were a prisoner of your spire, but who in the end has ever looked beyond his cage at anyone else? Lessing's sword moves so quickly that dodging it is nearly impossible. He's rarely spoken so many words in one breath. At first, Ebenholz had no intention of dodging, but almost instinctively the originium dice float into the air. Arts pour out uncontrollably like fiery rage. Blood, title, duty, everything was forced upon me by fate. I tried. I stood against it, and in the end, you tell me there was never any need to. Why? Why did I have to go through all this when I'm nobody at all? Lessing's sword presses against Ebenholz's throat. The originium dice fall to the side. The battle is over. The outcome surprised to no one. Our fight against fate never belonged to any of us. And so, what does the suffering we've endured even count for? I never received a noble's education, and I don't throw around words like fate. I only know that all the suffering is real. I've seen street hawkers beaten by the gendarmerie in the alleyways. I've seen old men freeze to death on the roadside after losing their farmland to the rural nobility. They'll never see the Witch King, the Twin Empresses, or a Kurfürsten in their life. They'll never have the time or energy to contemplate fate, suffering, or meaning. That's life in the shadow of the spires for the great masses of Leithanien. No one can overcome an abstract concept. If you want revenge, choose a concrete target. The Witch King, the Twin Empresses, the still living remnants. We fight to survive, and we don't stop until our own blood or that of our enemies runs dry. Fight. And the Witch King's legacy still exists wherever it is. Enemies shrouded in darkness may find it at any moment and use it to unleash suffering on the great masses once again. You can stay in this spire and continue lamenting your fate, or you can challenge me again and die by my hand. Or you can join me in seeking the Witch King's legacy. Help me find the true culprit, who may still be alive in some form. Choose. Ebenholz feels the sword against his throat, still wrapped in bandages. Were it not wrapped, he would have smelled blood. Of course, this does not mean that Lessing can't kill him. The warrior's expression is cold, but his eyes burn with anger. Why is he angry? Why does he still have expectations for a man like him? Would you kindly pass me my arts unit? Why aren't they here? Frau Hochberg, what is it you're looking for? Sketches. Frieda Siemens drawings. Since Herr Reiner and I left, has anyone else been in this room? No suspicious individuals, mein Dame. After you and Herr Gesichtsvachter left, the Imperial casters carefully inspected the entire alley. After confirming no traces of the Witch King's remains and no dangerous witchcraft or items, they left. Are the drawings you're looking for involved in some important case? A case? Viviana recalls Grimmock's words. The case of the Witch King's remains stealing a copy of the Gugdenisgeschatz has been closed. No, it's merely personal. Frau Siemens' work is incredibly beautiful. It always invokes some marigold memories in me. Please don't alert the others, though. I don't want too many people to know I've been here. Of course, rest assured, the Gendarmerie will never disclose your movements. So lovely. Marigolds, sunlight, such beautiful things tend to inspire creativity and nurture emotion. No wonder so many Leithanien artists love this alley. Werner von Hochberg, he was obsessed with it until the day he died. Might you be Fra Giallo? Weren't you taken away by Grimmock's casters? I'm certainly not here. And you didn't really bump into your father back there either. This is all in your imagination. Is this also an effect of your arts? You're rather skilled in originium arts yourself. What do you think? Excuse me. I haven't noticed anything unusual. People often misunderstand my arts. The truth is, I can't do very much at all. People are just ignorant of their own hearts, or even if they do know, they're unwilling to face themselves. I told you the first time we met. My melodies, excuse me, resonate with the emotions deep inside the human heart. And once they ripple, they are hard to ignore. It's you who wants to change your father's fate. The one talking to you now, well, I'm afraid it's you yourself. Is that so? You yearn to know the cause of your father's death. You fear that the conspiracy of the Witch King's remains is not yet through. You suspect that the farce performed at Ludwig's Universitat was just a diversion. You wonder if perhaps the Kaiserinnen wanted to kill the Kurfürst. 9. But you see, you can't hold back the birth of this thought. If your father were standing here, what would he do? My father. He wouldn't do anything. He would accept fate's plan and turn away. Even though he would go on to live with endless pain and regret. And so, what about you? Would you do the same? He and I. Frau Giala. Do not mistake me for that distant relative of mine. There is no need for you to brandish your arts unit in my direction. This whole area is encircled by Leithanien's finest gendarmerie. Who are you, Herr Sancta? I am an executor. I work with Michael. Michael is a good boy. I guess I can trust you. That went surprisingly well. At Michael's suggestion, I would like to provide a clue regarding Arturia. What is it? There is a high probability that she is planning an even more serious incident. Signora Viviana von Hochberg, it is my hope that we can cooperate and put a stop to her plans. And that's it. Next is ZT-6. Let's go ahead and continue. ZT-6. Let's see what we can do. Stop knocking on the windowsill. Are you trying to send a secret message? As you can see, I am unable to play my cello because it's been arts locked. It is uncomfortable. Unless you would care to join me for a chat. Absolutely not. Very well then. I'll have to wait for another guest. Try anything funny and we'll bind your arms and legs with arts. My apologies, but Gritmocht has forbidden anyone from meeting with Arturia. Not even an Empress's voice? No exceptions. Then what about Uigignod's envoy? Uigignod sent you? Was that not clear enough? Now this is a surprise. To think you'd be the first to come and see me. This is the second time we've met, Arturia. Oh, more than that, I would think. How many times have we met in the sound of music? I see your words are as mysterious as your music and yourself. Me? Mysterious? On the contrary, I'm far more open and frank than most. So an Empress's voice, a paragon of law and order, has come to meet with a dangerous felon alone, even going as far as to bake an Empress's orders to do so. That must have taken quite a bit of determination. You knew I wasn't sent by Uigignod? There's nothing she could possibly want to ask me. But you, Viviana, your face is full of question marks. So what would you like to know from your former enemy? Allow me to guess. You want to know the truth behind your father's death. Yeah. That said, I'm not used to answering questions. Do I need to offer you something in exchange? A trade? How about you simply open yourself up to me, and allow me to search your heart? That's... oh, pardon my impertinence. Then let's tell a story together as usual. This part's interesting. Once upon a time, there was a child who lived on top of a tower in the middle of a storm. Until the age of 9, she never left her little room in the tower. You know my... oh, don't give me that look. Like I said, this is simply a story we're telling together. Imagine that you're a part of it, and reach out to yourself. Very well. Tell me, what is it about the tower that left the deepest impression on the child? The window. It was a small room. The window was small too. You could reach out and touch the cold, wet clouds. Storms rarely abate in Sturmland, do they? Yeah. Dark lightning knocked at the window. My mother would hold me, telling me stories and reading me poems in a soft, gentle voice. What about your father? One night a week, he would come to the spire where I lived, bringing me books and teaching me to play instruments. You looked forward to these meetings. Did you leave your room and wait for him at the top of the staircase when it was almost time? When I was little, but I stopped. What happened? The skies were very dark that day. It had been a long time, my father's last visit. I was out of candles and I wanted to find some, so I went further than I usually did. I saw so many children and adults. The music, combined with their laughter, was louder than the thunder. That's when you realized that not every child had to stay in the room like you did. That you could hold their parents' hands and dance and sing to their hearts. That they could hold their parents' hands and dance and sing to their heart's delight. Yeah. Did you see your father there? Or did you look for him? I wanted to, but my mother pulled me back. She covered my ears and tried to cover my eyes, too. It hurt a bit, but I didn't say anything. She brought you back to your little room. Did you look up? 9. I kept my eyes closed. I heard my mother crying, but I didn't dare look at her. Didn't dare? Yeah. I didn't go down the stairs. I didn't dare look for my father anymore. I never looked up again, even after my mother passed away, when my father sent me away from the spire. Why not? My father was a Kurfürst. He and my mother weren't married. My existence was a secret that would hurt my mother and make things more difficult for my father if anyone found out. No, that's not what I'm asking. How did you feel? Me? You were the one trapped in the spire. You were the one forbidden to recognize your father. You were the one who watched your mother waste away. You were the one sent away from home. When you went to Kazimierz and decided to become a knight, you held a sliver of expectation. After all, the stories of your childhood, the stories about knights, had long been your source of comfort. But you soon realized you were no more than a puppet of the General Chamber of Commerce. Even your childhood in the spire was boiled down to an exotic label, Leithanien, an advertisement destined to sell in the markets of both countries. You left the arena after getting on the wrong side of the KGCC. You thought you would finally have some peace and quiet, only to be summoned back to Leithanien by a letter from your father. Once again, you find your fate written by another. Illegitimate child, competition knight, Empress's voice. You never chose any of these identities, and it all started on that spire, at the top of those stairs. You're right. It's been so many years, but sometimes I feel like I'm still there. Like I never left it. Once again, think back to the memory that left the deepest impression. That day when your father took your hand and descended the seemingly endless stairs. You didn't look up. I couldn't. If I did, he would see the tear stains on my face and the tears in my eyes. Anger. I already lost my mother. Why are you pushing me away like this? Yeah, I had nothing. Why abandon me? I already lost my mother. Why did I have to lose my father, too? Why couldn't you have waited in Marigold Alley just a little longer? Why did you write for me to come back only to leave me again once I'd returned with hope in my heart? Arturia does not answer. She simply gazes at Viviana at the ripples in the lakes of her eyes. If silence can be considered an expression of sound, then their emotions could resonate even without a melody. Anger, frustration, pain, the same emotions reflected in Arturia's eyes. She sighs and awakens the dreamer from her memory with gentle words. That's enough story time. Keep trying to rub paint off of my phone, my screen protector. I just painted a wall while I was taking a break, just to give me that little bit of break from doing this for as long as these stories and stuff are, and as long as the dialogue portions are versus the gameplay itself. I took a break just so that I could get away, and I'm working on painting the room that I'm actually in right now. So that's paint all over my phone in the process. Anyways, Kurfürst Werner was my friend, Viviana. I'm getting ahead of myself now. Our meeting was so ordinary that it's hardly worth mentioning. He was high and noble, but was also a sensitive and romantic artist. We often spoke about music. A few months ago, his envoy found me while I was traveling. He knew his days were numbered. All he wanted was to see his beloved again through my music. He wanted to see Mother. Not just Lucinda, but you as well. Werner did reminisce about his romance with Lucinda, but he spent even more time in that little room on the spire. Those nights with you and your mother were his only comfort in those painful early days as Kurfürst. That's how I knew your story. So it wasn't... No, I did not use arts on you. I'd already met you countless times through Werner's mind's eye. You must hear this often, but you really are so much like your father. I know. But it was only when I saw you in person that I realized. You're more than just a flickering candle. More than what? You're so much stronger, so much tougher than a candle flame. Now I've told you everything I could. Kurfürst Werner died over the copy of the Goldenischatz. On that matter, you know as much as I do. You told me he knew his end was coming, which means he knew how he would die. Correct. Protecting the Goldenischatz was his vow to the twins, and his duty as Kurfürst of Sturmland. Whether it was the movement or its loss, the responsibility and blame lie solely on Sturmland. Only by giving his life for it could he protect his loved ones and House Hochberg, all while ridding himself of a ticking time bomb. It was all for the Goldenischatz. I think I understand. One last bit of advice, to thank you for your trust and sincerity. When I first saw you, I also saw the shadow behind you, but now it's growing, filling the entire staircase outside. Danke, Artoria, for the answers. My dear Viviana, how pitiable, how noble. Will you be swallowed by the shadow? Made it! You move so quickly, Herr Eric. I could hardly keep up. Pardon my excitement. I thought I wouldn't be able to leave Sturmland, but the Empress's voice delayed the visit. Kurfürsten succession ceremonies rarely take this long, not since the reign of the Witch King. Stop worrying. While in Zwillingsturm, what could be more important than seeing their majesties? Hurry, and we may even secure a seat closer to the twin spires before anyone else arrives. Hey, why is that man not moving? Guten Tag. Are you here for Das Kaisernen's Fest too? I suppose so. Where's your instrument then? What are you going to do for the ensemble? The ensemble? The ensemble of the Goldenischatz. The most important part of the ceremony. Bathing in the glory of both the golden melody and Leithanien. This is my master's first time attending. I have his flute with me. Ah, of course. Do forgive my nosiness. Which Christ do you hail from? Does it matter? Oh no, I don't mean to pry, only that it's customary for those of the same Christ to stand together. I see. Please go ahead, we will follow. Oh, very good then. I mean, danke, mein Herr. May Grimmark's glory and Uegignod's blessing orbit you like the sun. Seeing the twin Empress's spires for the first time? The white dress of Uegignod, the eternal grace, the black blade of Grimmark, the austere authority. Their two spires resemble them so much. The twin spires are Zwillingsturm's namesake. They're the pride of Leithanien. No matter how beautiful, they're no more than two elaborate cages. An apt metaphor. Das Kaisernen's Fest. They say it's for all Leithanians, but only the nobles are allowed to join in the ensemble at the amphitheater. It is, in effect, a performance of an arts ritual. A ritual. Did you see the bridge connecting the spires? That's where the twin empresses play every year. The sound of the pipe organ and the violin are amplified by the resonance between the buildings, spreading to every corner of Zwillingsturm. So it's some kind of arts. The old man told me that it's the work of Herkomschorn. He turned Vidunian into a massive arts device, with the bell tower of Weissenhof at the center. Weinshof. And the twin empresses had built upon the Witch King's arts. To avoid making the same mistakes as him, they set the twin spires at the center of the resonance, effectively tuning the entire city and making it virtually impossible to assail the spires from the outside. Anyone wanting to attack the Kaisernen will either need to destroy the entire palace area where the spires are located, or work from within. Spoken like someone who's given some thought to planning such an attack. Wait, don't tell me you actually... If we see the Gendarmerie or the Empress's voice, remind me to run faster than you. Quiet. The celebration is about to begin. People are coming. Try to blend into the crowd. Don't just stand there like earlier. What about when the ensemble begins? We didn't bring any instruments unless your sword is a fair bit more useful? Wow. A fair bit more versatile than it looks. If the ensemble begins. I met that distant relative of yours. Exactly as you predicted. She offered a generous lead. Perhaps we really are trapped in some kind of illusion they created. What if the Witch King's remnants aren't trying to use the Guldeneskasats to get to the Witch King's legacy, but to use the Witch King's powers to tamper with it? What if their goal is never truly changed? What are you still doing here, my dame? All the Empress's voices in Zwillingsturme have been summoned to the amphitheater. I'll be on my way. This cell holds a dangerous felon, and it's quite far from the amphitheater. I'll need to contact Grimmox. I would not recommend that. Sancta! What's the Sancta doing here? Let's catch him together, my dame. He may well be in league with Arturia. Look out. Sorry. I was about to ask your opinion on how to handle this. So if I weren't here, you would have simply done it yourself? My presence here already violates diplomatic protocol. An additional rule being broken is of little consequence, other than in terms of the subsequent cleanup. You are an Empress's voice. Michael has told me of your circumstances. I appreciate your kind gesture. Huh? It was my own decision to visit Arturia. I didn't want my father's death to be meaningless. I didn't want to keep my head down and pretend nothing had happened. I wanted to fight for something, to finally seize my own fate with my two hands. You chose to let Arturia perform your heart's music. 9. The melody was always there, echoing in my heart. I just chose not to listen to it until now. I believe she's telling the truth that the Guldeneskasats is at the heart of the problem. The Imperial casters have recovered the copy of the Guldeneskasats. However, I've learned that Arturia has an accomplice with whom she was in close contact. The available evidence indicates that this person may not have been the mastermind behind the Ludwig's Universitat incident. Then we can assume that the Witch King's remnants have already obtained the arts recorded in the copy. Guldeneskasats will be performed by over 10,000 people at the amphitheater. If the Witch King's remnants are in that crowd, the consequences will be unimaginable. I would like to share our current findings with Michael. Sure, he might be able to persuade Grimmox. That's not enough. We must take action ourselves, even without their Majesty's permission. Musicians and instruments are in position, Frau Lowenstein. Very well. Give me a moment while I double-check the amplification arts. You're back, Amelie. Did you forget something? No need to be nervous. This is your first public performance as part of the orchestra. Just hold your instrument steady and focus on the melody. Pay no mind to anyone watching. Oh, it's you. Adjust the direction of that arts units, will you? Turn it counterclockwise 17 degrees. Yeah, that's how it should sound. But why are you here at this hour? Is Uigignod still concerned about the effect of the performance? Frau Lowenstein, where are the other musicians? At the amphitheater. Performance of the Guldeneskasats will begin in 10 minutes. The Reich Orchester needs a good start under the direction of the Kaiserin. Only 10 minutes. The Kaiserin's weathercasters have forecasted the exact time of today's sunset. As per custom, the performance of the Guldeneskasats will conclude just as the last ray fades. The rehearsal schedule has been hard, but we'll be able to rest once we get through this evening. You too, Viviana. I've been thinking, we'll need to find a long-term residence in Zwillingsturme, if you're to remain by the Kaiserin's side when this is all over. Would you like to stay at my place? I have a little mansion in Bachshof. I just had the walls repainted. Brandt planted some vines, which he says goes well with the walls. But to be honest, I'd like a second opinion before I commit. Frau Lowenstein. Cora. Yeah? What is it? How might one stop the performance of the Guldeneskasats? Why do you ask? This performance has been the most important part of Das Kaiserinnenfest for the last 23 years. So many people are waiting in the amphitheater in front of the spires. I've almost gotten to the bottom of these tragedies. I'm sure the enemy's plan has something to do with the Goldenisgesats. That they cannot be allowed to succeed. And how did you learn this? Have you told Zwillingsturme? I don't know who to trust. I can't stop thinking about who killed my father. You suspect their majesties. You're an empress's voice, Viviana. Who's there? Friend. He's keeping watch. The empress's casters are coming. So soon? It will take more than 10 minutes to neutralize them. Performance of the Goldenisgesats is about to begin. Don't fight them. I'll be with you, Viviana, no matter what you do. You believe me? Do you even need to ask? Besides, I can't let you put yourself in danger. You want to stop the Reichsorchester from playing the Goldenisgesats, right? I'll take you there. They've gone out. What? The candle's on the stairs. The room is so much darker now, don't you think? What are you doing? Stay away from the door. There are less people out there now. Have they gone after that lovely Empress's voice? Frau Hochberg is suspected to have fallen under your influence. She will be taken into custody until the conclusion of the celebration. It was a mistake to allow her to meet with you. A mistake, you say? You knew the Empress's voice was the daughter of a Kurfürst and had the favor of Zwillingsturme. Compared to working in Grimmock's Dark Spire, you clearly show more interest in its twin, the White Spire. So you let the Empress's new favorite come in without the proper checks just to curry favor with her. What are you babbling on about? But you soon realized the danger. Let me guess, Viviana did something unbefitting of her status after she left, didn't she? Now you're afraid Grimmock and her executors will not tolerate such a gross error. You would lose any chance of promotion, perhaps even your freedom. So why did you make a second mistake then? Music? How can this be? Grimmock, please, Nine, spare me! I can't listen! Too late. There are just too many instruments in Leithanien. Your arts units, like your souls, are laid bare before me. You're knocking. You dared not carry your instruments with you in my presence, so you left them outside the door. But in your haste, you forgot the protective arts. You forgot that vibrations can be transmitted. The tiniest tremor of a string, and you're hearing my music. Check my crown, would you? Yeah. Your fingers are cold. Sorry. How about this? That better? You've been clutching your sword all day. Its chill has rubbed off on you. It's time. We should head to the bridge. Hildegard. Yeah, what is it? Am I pretty today? As always. Grimmock! Zwillingsturme! Your wolf cub is here. Go first, Lieselot. The people are waiting. We've always walked out onto the bridge together. Nothing is obliged to stay the same forever. I'll find you before the performance begins. So, why are you here? I thought you preferred it down below. I have an urgent matter to report. Bring my violin. We'll talk on the way. 9! Please, you must order the celebration to be halted. The Witch King's remnants are in the crowd, planning a massive attack. Proof? Please, just give me a little time. I'll find the proof. You didn't used to be so brash, Michael. That reckless Sancta has changed you. Federico, the Lateran executor, believes that there is a larger incident in the works. And it has something to do with Arturia. We should interrogate her. What does she know about the Goldenisgesats? Who are her supporters, and what are she and her accomplices planning? As long as the performance of the Goldenisgesats can be delayed, I see you believe the celebration to be a mere festivity. The Kaiserinnenfest first took place 23 years ago, on the day we killed the Witch King. But there were no empresses and no celebration, only soldiers fallen in battle, and a tired and frightened people. We defeated the Witch King in the early dawn, and spent the next few hours cleaning up his followers at dusk. Lieselot and I descended the spire, walked down its bloody steps, and announced our victory with a duet. Today, the 10,000 people of the ensemble come from every kreis, from all four corners of Leithanien. Every Leithanien, every friend of Leithanien, and every enemy of Leithanien has their eyes on the Twin Spire, on Grimmacht and Uigignod. And you want me to suspend, even cancel the ensemble based on the hypothesis of a Lateran executor who's already caused his fair share of trouble in our country. Perhaps I expected too much of you. You should have known I would respond like this before you even spoke, and if you truly believed in your judgment, you should have acted on your own. On that account, the daughter of Werder von Hochberg is far more resolute than you. What? How long have you been with me, Michael? 7 years. It's time to let you go. What? Why would you say that? There comes a day when one must shoulder more responsibility for the sake of Leithanien's future. Bring me my violin. It's time I went to the bridge. The orchestra is 10 meters below us. The sun has painted the clouds red. 3 minutes 50 seconds until the performance begins. I will fire a blank. The noise should cause some of the musicians to scatter and interrupt the performance. The musicians of the Reichsorchester are all arts masters, each one the equal of an empress's voice. We would be drowned in arts the moment you showed an intent to attack. The equivalent of 97 empresses' voices, then. Plus 2 squads of approaching casters, for a total of 120. I can give you 3 minutes. You must secure the remaining 23 seconds on your own, Signora Hochberg. 3 minutes? But if this is the only way... Delay the casters, leave the rest to me. The shadows of the Twin Spires stretch as the sun sinks towards the horizon. They swallow up the shadows of the musicians, of Cora, of Viviana herself. She has never felt her power unleashed like this. She is reminded of that flickering candlelight in the spire. It was a tiny flame that only illuminated a corner of the bed, leaving the other corners, the spiral staircase, and the night beyond the spire in total darkness. There was a time when she couldn't admit that the darkness would linger in her eyes longer than that tiny speck of candlelight. Success. I cut off the connection between some of the musicians and their instruments. What's going on? We're being affected by somebody's arts. You, Frau Lowenstein, are you being held hostage? You could say that. 9. I'm sorry, Amelie. You're in league with each other? I made my choice, and I will not hesitate. Could you please just put down your instrument for a while? There are fluctuations of arts energy coming from below the Twin Spires, and some commotion from where the orchestra is. The Witch King's remnants? Possibly. Strange. There should be Gesichtswachter in the area, but I don't see any. Why? I see. The Kaiserinnen knew that something terrible would happen here. They've prepared to abandon the Twin Spires if necessary. They'll abandon all the... Mein Herr! You are from Sturmland, yeah? Why do you look like someone spooked you? The ensemble is about to begin. Here, I have an extra flute. You can borrow it. Flute. This performance is not to be missed. 9, you can't be here. Oh, leave the amphitheater. You'd like a better position? I suppose we could squeeze... I'm not. Do you not see these? See what? The dice I'm holding. My arts unit. What are you doing? You'll give yourself away. Does it even matter at this point? Look around. There must be 10,000 people here. No, we can't even worry about that now. All we can do is save as many as we can. Even just one more. It's too loud here. I can't hear a word you're saying. Look at me. Look at my arts. Do they remind you of anything? I am an Urtica. My arts come from the same lineage as him. You should be afraid. Run! Amazing. Do you hear that? The Imperial musicians just played the first note. The performance of the Godenesketsatz has begun. Black arts orb rises from his hand and into the air, exploding into a reddish-black shadow. It is quickly buried by even more brilliant rays of arts. It's a beautiful scene. I like this picture. Rays created by various originium arts interweave in the clouds. Both the melody and the arts come from the people on the ground, all focused on performing the music belonging to Leithanien alone, using instruments that also serve as arts units. Even the buildings resonate with the Twin Spires, turning the empty space around the Kaiserinnen's towers into a true amphitheater. The colors penetrating the clouds continue to shift with the splendid melody, as though the crowd is performing the color of the sunset in the sky. It is a feast of sight and sound woven together by arts, the ultimate expression of Leithanien's classical aesthetics and mastery over arts. It's a grand spectacle visible from any corner of Zwillingsturme and beyond. Tears begin to fill Ebenholz's eyes. He remembers standing atop the spire of Urtica, gazing down at the plate below. There were many bell towers in the graft shaft, which sang every day at dusk. The people would leave their workshops after a long day of work, and the sound of the wheels rolling over metallic roads would echo with the music filling the city. He could see the green-black wilderness. If he stood on his toes, Einwald was filled with forests. The caravans brought ripe fruit into the city whenever they were in season. Farmers often amplified their scents with arts to attract customers. He could always smell the best fruits, even from this high perch. The maid who sympathized with him would sneak a few back from the market, as long as no other nobles were watching. The fruits were ripe and fresh, unlike the carefully selected dried and withered fruit served on the long old table. He could not remember what became of the maid. Did she go join her beloved in the south, or did she find a new job at the instrument workshop beneath the spire? And when he left Urtica, did he ever look back? Let the dark clouds scatter. Let the morning sun shine. Praise be to Leithanien, home of the free. Yes, he had once loved this place from the bottom of his heart. Leithanien, the land of divine music, cradle of the arts. Performance has begun. It sounds so harmonious even without the strings. There's a theory I've heard. I've never tried to verify it. The Goldenisgesatz contains the will of Leithanien. It represents order, harmony, and beauty. The golden melody is deeply rooted in the soul of every Leithanien and is not so easily damaged. It sounds like a form of Originium arts. It shares some characteristics with our law, but works on different principles and on a different target. So, the Goldenisgesatz is actually a kind of complex arts affecting the cognition of every Leithanien who hears it? Cast by more than 10,000 people in ensemble. So we can't disrupt the performance, but what about the enemy? What's their plan? The enemy's plan is undoubtedly the opposite. They want the music to continue, therefore, there is only one place they can be hiding. What are you doing? I put down my cello as you asked! Frau Hochberg and I have not prevented any musician from leaving. Your colleagues are either resisting her arts or choose to avoid confrontation due to Frau Lowenstein's presence. You are the only one who has stayed behind. Very astute, Sancta. We have waited far too long to hear the music that truly belongs to Leithanien. The other Witch King's remnants are amongst the musicians. Stay away from them, Cora! Are you crying? Yeah. I'm listening to the Goldenisgesatz. The movement. It's just so beautiful. It reminded me of how much I used to love Leithanien. Boy. Alright.
Operation commencing.
You
know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm putting red there.
No way out for
Just
you.
for curiosity's sake. Double there. Just for now. Just trying to think of how I should do this.
I'm listening.
I've got a little screenshot of my main account set up over here, and just gonna put him there. Oh, see, I did that. See, that's different. No, because I had Exusier here, I think, facing. This isn't gonna work.
scenery here, Doctor.
See, these are stronger now, which is helping. Definitely helping. But this dude.
I'm ready.
Not one step backward.
I ended up having to pull her. Wow, okay. This ain't gonna work.
Skill, no death,
Fight, Red.
is in my eyes.
Okay. I'm gonna have to redo this. I've got to be able to take care of that guy quick, but... So I had Exusier low, and she was like wrecking everybody that came through there. I had another sniper facing up. That's Provence. No. Yeah, that's Provence. Okay, and then I had a caster, and then I had a guard and a defender over on that side. And they were working fine for the most part. Let's try it again. Let's see if we can do it a little bit differently. First of all, let's put Myrtle here to start.
Here, Doc, ready to heal. Speed.
Red there. Let them like that.
I have to get serious now.
You can go there. She can go here, and she'll cover this whole area. I doubt this will work, but I'll put Cruz there, just for now. I'm gonna need to get somebody else out over here. Another guard, preferably. Yeah, see, she's doing a little bit of damage, but not enough. Fight, Red, fight. Even though that one's attacking.
Linda.
Whew. Gather around me, guys.
Linda, the power of the earth. Solid position.
Of course, they're gonna attack Pookie.
Safe here.
Chop him away, Pookie.
Freeze.
Okay.
Show me what you got then.
I'm gonna pull her for now. And I'm gonna put her here.
Freeze.
I lost my medic already. Wait, that's not annoying.
Speed.
Boy, that's not hurting him at all. I need to change the thing, but wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
My blade. Not sharp enough.
Try something here. We're gonna go practice mode. Mm-hmm.
正面は私に任せて。
I'm gonna let Red attack that, but she'll be able to cover whoever comes down here. You know what? I'm going to... I'm gonna put Jessica there. And I'm gonna aim Cruz this way. Just to help cover this side. Go over here again. Oh, Red got taken out, which is fine. For now.
I'm ready.
Wow. No, Red, there, fight him. This is a bad setup, I shouldn't have done this. Keep thinking on this one. Practice.
正面は私に任せて。
I'll definitely prove myself this time.
加減はしますよ。こっち向け。
Speed.
I won't sleep on the job. Take aim. I have to get serious now. All right.
Okay.
I'm ready. There you are. Take aim.
See, she's got them slowed for now. So I've got an extra moment.
Here I am.
Kind of. No, I don't. I'm putting too much out over here. That's not working. I've got to...
Now I want to crush them that much harder.
行くぞ。
油断してはいけません。加減はしますよ。
I'm here to help.
飯は食ってねえのか。全力で来い。
There we go. I have to get serious now.
ウォーミングアップはここまでだ。
Solid positioning. There are the enemies.
まとめてかかってきやがれ。
Speed.
Don't be upset. Heal that wound in no time.
ウォーミングアップはここまでだ。
Get around, guys.
光が
You'll pay for that.
Hey, wait. I might have it.
harder than that.
Got it.
戦に命光あれ。
まとめてかかってきやがれ。
Okay.
Doctor, I can heal that wound in no time. Get around, guys. I'll show them what I can do. Standing by.
There are the enemies.
ウォーミングアップはここまでだ。
What's the battle plan?
盾を構えるぞ! I'm right here, Doc. I know what you're thinking. Not one step backward.
Speed.
I have to get serious now.
まとめてかかってきやがれ。
I got it.
Doctor, I can heal that wound in no time. Yeah, Joker!
飯は食ってねえのか。全力で来い。
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I got it. Okay. All right, so that one's taken care
だ
of.
ろ僕はすっごく強いんだって
All right. Let's try this now that we've gotten it beat the normal way, or through practice. Let's try this again. Let's try it. This worked.
You people.
He went there.
I can't even remember your faces
Myrtle there.
after this one. Anyway, let's just get started.
Good scenery here, Doctor.
まとめてかかってきやがれ
Fight for me for a moment, Myrtle. She goes here.
There we go.
Jessica here.
こっち向け
Almost
Myrtle's
we're
good
counting
now.
on you
I
again
can
today,
do this.
little apple.
Jessica there. Pookie there. 19. Okay, there she goes.
こっち向け
Bruce. Here. Bruce, how I did that.
飯は食ってねえのか全力で来い
End up losing her, which is fine.
In no time.
And I put Blemish Shine here. Oh, no.
I'll show them what I can do.
Fight. Fight this guy, please. Take care of him real quick. Hopefully.
準備完了。心配しないで。
飯は食
We're counting on you again today, little apple. I'm
If I
ready.
put Earth Spirit there, change this, slow them down.
You'll pay for that.
Okay, I can pull red. We're gonna put Amiya out here. This gives red time to recharge in case I need her there, and then of course Bubble. Which actually I could and should put Bubble out just like as soon as I can, which is like when she goes down. Actually, I'm gonna have to wait. It's a little too early.
Please, come to your senses.
There we go. Okay. Not that much.
ウォーミングアップはここまでだ
Not one step
Slow it
backward.
down again. We should be good. I can pull that trigger for now, just to boost myself a little bit more. We throw Bubble here.
悪い人に立ち向かう
She'll cover then. And then if I have to put Click out there, I
ウォーミングアッ
will.
プはここまでだ
Here, everyone believes in me.
Closer, dummy. You're out of time.
飯は
19, 20, 21, 22.
全力で来い
Man, right as I went to click her.
Skill.
Right as I went to click her and use that special that would have froze that dude.
こっち向け
Oh, yes! 6 down. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we got 4 more stages after this. Of the event. I was 15 when I entered the Witch King's Spire. I came from an ordinary family in Kreiseinwald. I should not have been able to become a noble's attendant, but I heard that Herkrumshorn made no distinction between nobles and commoners. This was not because he treated commoners particularly well, because he looked down equally on all who cowered at the foot of his throne. At first, my job was to clean his instruments, but Herkrumshorn no longer played ordinary music, and those instruments had no meaning. Later, I was sent to clean the residence pipelines at the top of the spire. It was not a difficult job, but Herkrumshorn would not tolerate a single speck of dust in them. My colleagues came and went. Few got to leave on their own 2 feet. In the end, I was the only one left, quietly cleaning at the top of the tower. And 1,000 sunrises and sunsets later, the Witch King's Spire fell. We're off the way down. Attention, all squads, find the Sancta. Do not allow her to enter the amphitheater and interrupt the performance of the Godeniska shots. The target is known to use unusual arts. You have permission to kill if necessary. Hello, were you looking for me? Barrier up. Get in formation, catch her! Artoria Giallo. Leithanien took you in when you became a pariah in Laterano. Countless nobles honored you for your remarkable musical talent. The Kyostinv granted you rights equivalent to Spire nobility. So return to your cell and submit to them, and they may yet allow you to live. That was never an option. What point is there to living if I can't play freely? Then accept your death. Your arts have gotten stronger. You missed your chance to break out, Sancta. The Guldenizgeschots is in progress. Do you see the scene outside? Your parlor tricks are meaningless before the golden glory of Leithanien. Yes, I can feel that your will is firmer than ever, but it is your will expressing that music. Or has the melody convinced you that what you see is what you think? That's irrelevant. The golden melody guides me. My will echoes along with it. You, our enemy, will melt before Leithanien's radiance. She's gone. An illusion, but there was no music. Why does everyone keep assuming that I create illusions? I warned you, when your emotions are being controlled by a melody that doesn't belong to yourself, you can easily overlook the radiance before you. Like where I moved to in that radiance. Behind! Too late. Now, I would like to ask you kindly remove the arts cast on my instrument. There, it's clean now. Danke. How did we lose to you? Normally I wouldn't stand a chance, but your souls have become stiff and inflexible due to the bindings of the Guldenizgeschots. Creating innumerable weaknesses is your arts. But why? With arts like these, you could have changed your destiny, enjoyed wealth, fame, and favor beyond reckoning. What meaning is there in defying the Kyostinv? I think we have very different views on the meaning of meaning. Fame, fortune, status, all merely accessories to a soul that will eventually wither and rot with the passage of time. Kurfürst, beggar, or myself, the only difference is in the whispers of our hearts. I want to climb the tallest spire because of a melody, a soul, and a future, and for a promise I made to a friend. "10 years had passed since the death of the Witch King. I was attending a funeral of an old friend. After the funeral, I saw Sancta with her cello in the amphitheater below the twin spires. Others came and went, but she stood there from noon until sundown. According to legend, even the clouds stopped for the Witch King when he played upon his spire. I wonder, do the clouds remember what the spire looked like back then? I suppose not. Clouds change so quickly, after all. My teacher often told me of how he stood beneath the Witch King's spire while it was still standing, playing for the sole sovereign of Leithanien. Golden red clouds embraced the dark spire like an extravagant robe. He wanted to come back and see the spectacle again, but wasn't allowed to participate in Das Kyostinvfest. In fact, he could barely get permission to leave his home. Herr Emanuel was one of the Witch King's musicians. After all, even if just for a short while, times were hard for him after the Witch King's demise. Few came to save their goodbyes, and you were the only one to truly shed tears for him. I heard your playing at the funeral. It was very touching. Danke. But that doesn't bring even the slightly bit of comfort. But that doesn't bring even the slightest bit of comfort to my teacher. I asked to play for him while he was still alive, but he refused. During his days of pain and hardship, he refused to dwell on the happiness of the past, nor did he seek any change. He simply shut himself in his room, playing the Guldenizgeschots over and over again. Through that unchanging melody, he drowned himself in Leithanien's greatness, forgetting love, forgetting hate, and forgetting himself. Yet when faced with death, his heart was still filled with regret. I've heard far too much regret over these long years. My image of Herr Emanuel remained that of the energetic old man who thanked you with a hearty laugh when you passed him with his instrument. When you passed him his instrument. I heard that in the end he was too weak to even lift the bow. I thought that without the shadow of the Witch King's spire, the skies of Leithanien would change greatly. I thought that going from Verdunian to Zwillingsturme From the Witch King's spire to the Twin Empress's spires, the melody echoing in the dusk would somehow be different. But both then and now, we're like the clouds, unable to control where we drift. You! Why are you not going downstairs? I have no interest in this sort of concert. The melody that binds the listener's will is just another form of law. How did you know? As complex as your arts are, their structure is clearly visible to those familiar with Originium arts and music. In that sense, it's different from Laterano's law. Music should come from the unrestrained breathing of the soul, but you turned it into a cornerstone of order, all to control people's wills and wear down their emotions. True bonds between souls are growing weaker. People are increasingly unable to understand one another, unable to respect the emotions of one another, and as such do harm to one another. Such a rigid melody is no music at all. We're almost at the top. I should start preparing for the next piece before this one ends. It's almost time to make good on our promise, isn't it? As you said, this is a good place to play, or listen. There's a little bit of a key there. I didn't catch that the first time. Is this my deepest memory? Yes. Sorry. Why apologize? Very few have invited me to play their heart's music of their own accord. Most did whatever they could to escape, yet you have bared your soul to me. For that, I am grateful and overjoyed. I just thought I could show you the death of the Witch King through my memories. My music simply follows the melody of your heart. It cannot decide what you recall. All I can do is feel your emotions and recreate them. Sounds like sculpting, then. You could say that. I discover and record rather than changing one's true visage. There is only one reason we cannot enter the Witch King's spire in your memories. Whenever you recall his death, there is a hand that truly moves your emotions, a hand that grabbed you amidst the great flood of arts. Whose hand was it? Whose hand was it? It was... Look out! They're coming one after another. Federico and I will try to hold them off. You're blind and it's too risky. Grab my hand and stay close. Nope. You're so much like him. You mean my father? This is just like when he grabbed me under the Witch King's spire. He grabbed the hand of a servant he'd never met and protected me through one wave of arts after another. You were in the spire the night the Witch King died. You never told me that was how you met. Yeah. I had just lost my sight and was cowering before the half-collapsed stairs. Neither the Witch King's guards nor the twin soldiers would have paid any heed to a humble servant. Instead, a squad from Sturmland found me. It was led by Werner, looking for his missing father and brother in the spire. His heart must have been fraught with worry, but he couldn't ignore me shivering in a corner and pulled me out of the ruins himself. That sounds like him, all right. I would have done the same. You're both good people. Very good people. It's such a shame that... Why are you covering my ears? No need to be afraid, Viviana. It'll pass. This will all pass. What's happening? The music has changed. It's hideous. My head! Who's attacking me? It's like someone stuffed 1,000 screaming foul beasts into my brain. These fireworks, too. The colors. It's so crass. This is wrong. This isn't right. Am I playing it wrong? Is everyone wrong? Herr from Sturmland, are you all right? Don't touch me. I don't know who you are, and I don't want to know. Are you the one who played it wrong? Are you trying to break something? Everything. Something went wrong with the melody. But how could everyone be wrong at the same time? And how could a simple mistake lead to something so painful? Look, the Twin Empress's spires. It's getting dark. It's him. Arknights. I'd recognize that anywhere. His power is eating away at the Kodeniska. The Witch King's remnants, where are they? I knew there were some left. It's time to fight, Lessing! You're not affected? By a few dark clouds? After what I've had to live with in my head every day of my life. The Kodeniska itself, though. It made me miss Urtica. Now that is deeply disturbing. That's the power of the movement. It defines Leithanien and its beliefs. I don't want someone else deciding what I should miss, what I should love, and what I should praise. But I'm guessing that whoever it is that's sabotaging the performance is after more than just pranking the Kaiserinnen and the nobles outside of Zwillingsturm. Enemy on your left. I know, your side too. Let's do this together. I didn't think anyone would retain their senses. For once, I'm grateful for everything you've done to me. Pain and chaos in my brain are like old friends by now. Good work. You too. So why are you acting just fine with everyone else in agony? While everyone else is in agony, I'm beginning to suspect that you're a lich sculpted wooden puppet. I was trained from a very young age to deal with this kind of situation. And what kind of situation would that be? The collapse of the Goldeniska. Please tell me you're joking. Do you see the golden glow rising above the edge of the amphitheater? I've never seen so many Gessertsfaktor in one place at a time. Her Majesty's order. Surround Gnad Avenue and Macht Avenue. Do not allow the corrupted Goldeniska shots to spread. So many Gessertsfaktor and Gendarmerie. The entire Zwillingsturmshof will be on lockdown before long. It's no use, it's too late. Erkenstron is back. The one true king has returned to a Leithanien that rightfully belongs to him. Quiet, please. We're leaving. Viviana, Cora, please, promise me. Don't say or do anything for now. I might have tried something if it were just her Reiner, but there are too many of them, and each one of the equal of a knight champion. Why do you not speak? Why should we hide? Now that the curtain is about to rise, our dream, our obsession, the moment for which we've given both blood and soul is finally upon us. So why is there no joy on your face? I told you to be quiet. You knew. Since when? I visited Marigold Alley before I went to see Arturia. I wanted to see those drawings again, the images that gave me such warmth, but I didn't find anything. All the drawings, the ones with the marigolds in them, the ones with clues leading to the Witch King, all gone. You took them, didn't you? I only needed to take the ones containing the clues, but I couldn't bear to part with the marigolds either. My suspicions were confirmed the moment you told me you were there the night the Witch King died. When you cleaned the canvas back then, you left a spot untouched, parts showing you. Witch King's remnants were after witnesses to the Witch King's death, and you were one of them. But you're different from the others. You're not an innocent victim. I didn't want to say it. I didn't even want to ask. Why couldn't I be selfish just this once? I'm sorry. I really am sorry, Viviana. Why? Why do I have to lose something I only just found? We should fight together, Concertmaster. The Gessertsfaktor are here. We've come so far, it would be a shame to die at their hands now. The amphitheater is a scene of chaos. The tuning continues. The Ludwig's Universität incident already proved that only the Kaiserinnen could fight Herkenschorn's arts. What would the twins think of my little show of selfishness, of betrayal? I am not especially concerned. Do you believe that the Goldeniska shots can completely change its tone? I only care about the result. The last person to rewrite the Goldeniska shots was Herkenschorn. But even he did not consider its destruction. The movement is the foundation on which Leithanien is built. Its destruction will undermine everything, our aesthetics, our habits and usage of arts, the Kurfürsten system, the imperial authority. It will bring unprecedented change to Leithanien. But change isn't necessarily bad. If it were, we would never have been born. A pair of children born of arts, in defiance of the laws of nature. This is just the beginning. That's what Fremont said to Leopold. But we were but infants at the time. But I know you understand what they said as well as I did. We were born with a duty to change Leithanien. Leopold was afraid of us, which is why he had an army ready to tear us apart from before the moment we killed Herkenschorn. But we survived. We may not have chosen to be born, but once we were, we had the right to live. 23 years ago, we stood here gazing at the same sunset over an altogether different scene of chaos. You extended your hand to me before we began our long-awaited duet. You said, this sunset doesn't belong to anyone. Not to Herkenschorn, not to Leopold, not to the Kurfürsten, nor to any other ambitious noble. Yeah. You took my hand and we walked here together. There's no need to answer to the Kurfürsten, no need to be manipulated by anyone. Our fate is ours alone to decide, and apparently someone else shares the same desire. Such a curious thing, the human soul. To think that even artificial children would learn human desire after gaining souls. That through a wish as simple as can be, the meek can be able to accomplish what even Herkenschorn failed to, and redefine Leithanien. You want to ask whether I let Cora roam free on purpose, don't you? Are you not the same mind of this matter? Our thoughts are linked, even if it's been a long time since the two of us have watched the sunset together. Let's stay a while. It won't take long. Very well. What will the future look like? Would you still watch it with me, Hildegard? So they knew about Cora. Where's Cora? Viviana. I could hear Brant's voice. He's fighting the remaining cultists. They won't last long. But the other is even faster. Viviana is silent, but her arch draw closer. I feel a shadow creep over the top of my foot, as cold as a storm at night. God, Concertmaster! Concertmaster! How my arts went through. This is tuning. Why? I'm sorry, Amelie. Like I said, my decision has never changed. It's nothing. We've betrayed so many in our lifetimes, perhaps too many. Herkenschorn's eternal spire, it's so close. I'll be waiting for you on the stairs, Concertmaster. Amelie must have turned to dark dust before me. This is how it is for the Witch King's followers. They don't want their bodies to linger on a land that lacks Herkenschorn's favor. She's dead. Most of them are. The remaining resistance will not last long. And the same for me, I suppose. You deceived the followers of Herkenschorn. Yeah. The Kaiseren's instruction was to become the constant master of the Witch King's followers, to become a hope and a lure, and to lead them into the abyss by their own volition. So she was ordered to do it. I missed that part before, too. It's been 23 years. Everything about the Witch King, the long nightmares, the deep-rooted fears, the meaningless ambition, should have been gone from this country a long time ago. So why is the tuning still going? Because... Werner. Did the Kaiseren order father's death? I tried to persuade him. I tried so hard. I wanted him to hand over the copy of the Godesgesetz so I could move it elsewhere, but he was concerned that the Witch King's remnants would catch on, thus nullifying the bait. I asked him if maybe Brant could arrive at the scene earlier and save him at the scene of the attack, but he refused. He said he was already dying, and would soon get to see Lucinda. A few more days wasn't worth dragging both you and Sturmland into it. But you'd have gotten there, if only he'd held out a few more hours or less. He was too determined to leave and gave up too easily. The day Werner died, I recovered the copy of the movement and watched you return to Sturmland, walking the path paved for you. So similar to his. And I made the choice that had been long brewing in my heart. Godesgesetz. You're using Herkenschorn's arts to tune the music. You're trying to destroy it, or rather the influence it holds over all Leithanians. They say that fate is an endless spiral staircase. If so, the Godesgesetz is the staircase trapping Leithanien. Stairs built 1,000 years ago. Glorious and beautiful on the outside, yet rotted to the core on the inside. I've seen so many people trapped within. Herr Emanuel, Gerard, Frida, Loris, and Brant, all suffering the tidings of fate, helpless to change it. The Witch King's spire fell, yet more rose to take its place. Those beneath the spires wish to climb them, while those atop them aspire to an even higher perch. They come and go, up and down, and endless waltz of hatred and conflict, pain, sorrow, and regret, filling the souls of one generation of Leithanians after another. You too, Viviana. Once you enter the Kaiseren spires, you will only speak what they want you to. I have already seen how you will be forced to live a life that you don't want, just like your father before you. The Godesgesetz never changes. Leithanien never changes. Tragedy never changes, unless we free ourselves from the movement of the past. You say you want to change our fate, but who are you to decide who gets saved and who gets sacrificed? I can't. It's not my place, nor is it anyone's. You want to destroy the old order, but where's the new order? Can you guarantee it will be better than yesterday or today? I can't. Our future isn't for someone like me to decide. Those who died for the plan and the people right before us, don't you realize the pain they're in? I hear them. Their screams, their laments. I'll never stop hearing them, not until the day I die. Then why do you have to be the one to change everything? Because I can. That's the only reason? Someone has to. My life never had much meaning to begin with, except for one speck of light that never fully belonged to me, and I would do anything to keep it from going out. I can't condone your cruelty, arrogance, or irresponsibility, and as such, I must stop you. Of course. Disaster has already struck, and by my hand I've caused so much death, with even more to come. Just stop this. I can't. Not after what it took to get this far. Do you know what it is about your actions I agree with the least? You really are heartless. No! Anna! Pura! Pura! I know. You're soft on the outside, but firm on the inside. You just can't turn your back on other people's pain. You don't want to make things difficult for Brant either. You're always thinking of others, even now. And I'm glad I got to die at the hands of the one I love the most. I'm sorry. Are the clouds beautiful today? No need to be afraid, Viviana. It'll pass. This will all. She embraces me. I can feel her hand on my back trembling. I want to hug her and comfort her like I used to. Perhaps I did. I talked so much, even though I had already begun to go numb from blood loss. I can imagine her lake-like eyes beginning to rain, her gentle complexion warped by torment. She only just learned that I've never clearly seen the faces of her father and mother. Through Werner's words, I could only imagine how they looked, how they met, and how they fell in love. After all, I went to that dark spire the day I came to Vidunion, and the day I left it, I could no longer see. Everything I know that's nice and beautiful, including Brant, was brought to me by Werner and Lucinda. Except for one thing. Except this. The day that Werner brought the girl down from the spire to me, the day that I touched her soft, timid hand, the day I wiped away her tears, that was the day that I became certain of it. I loved this child, and not because she was their daughter, but because I saw in her something that none of us had. She loved her like a daughter. You deserve a better life than this, Viviana, if there really is one. 23 years ago, I heard the sound of fighting from below, and gave the resonance pipeline at the top of the spire a little push. Just a little push, something anyone could do. It created the tiniest gap in Hercvenshorn's defensive arts. He had never imagined that a humble maidservant would have the courage to betray him. Today, I tampered with the resonance pipelines of the Twin Empresses' spires. All I did was restore the Witch King's tuning components, according to the arts he left behind in the copy of the Godeniskashatz, then activate them with my own humble arts. Life is too short. Do nothing and you will leave no trace behind, like the clouds floating past the spires. But no one should drift with the wind like that, unable to determine their own future. Many desires change. I'm just the first to extend my hand. I hope that after this, all good people, all the people I love, will have a true future. All right. So, collect that, and let's back out here for now.
Ciao, Doctor.
We've got some pulls here, so let's go ahead and use them. Clear my base stuff here real quick. Then we'll do the polls and we will wrap up this episode for now. Let's change midnight out.
Care to take a peek and tell me if Doberman's in there?
Midnight and Gavial into
Let's see if
rest.
there are any interesting people here.
All right. And then let's
Ciao,
go do
Doctor.
these polls. You know what? I got 3 more on this, so let's do them. Gravel. Okay.
What's wrong? Your face is beet red. That's just how I say.
2.
Reporting in!
I was gonna
You
wait
must
for the
be the
last,
doctor.
for the 10th
Call me
to give me.
Myrtle of Durin.
All right, Myrtle.
Durin said I could get a job here, so what?
And last one on this. Will we get a 5 or a 6? Most likely a 5. Yep, we got a 5. Who am I getting? Who am I getting?
A great evil
go.
stands in the way of justice. My master, in the name of hatred and revenge, lead the weak onward.
All right, I'll take her. That's fine. That gives me a little bit of a boost on Pookie power, huh? So what we'll do, DP cost -1, attack plus 25, improves talent redeployment time -4 seconds, and another DP cost -1. So if we keep getting her potential upgraded, it goes up to there. But you know what? That's fine. That is great. I'm happy that I was able to increase her potential. Even though it doesn't get me any new operators or anything right now, I feel like I've got a nice enough team that I can work with right now, and I'm comfortable with that. So, that being said, what do I have for certificates? It gives me a single. I don't have enough to get Spectre. That's okay. 238, 15. Yeah, all right. That's it there. All right, we're gonna wrap up this episode here. All right, guys, so we just got through ZT-6. So we completed ZT-5, the next story piece, which was ZT-ST-2, and then ZT-6 in this. I'm going to try and continue recording and wrap up as much as I can, if not finish it. And I've only got like a day and a half's worth of time at this point, to be able to finish the event. So I'm going to put a lot of focus into that. And that's probably going to be my last like daily recording for a while of this. And I mean, I know I've had a couple of gaps in here, so it hasn't quite been daily recordings the way I've wanted to, but it is what it is. I still got a lot of content made, but I want to try and see how much farther I can push this and how close I can get this to finishing up. I believe we have ZT-7, and then I have a tutorial, and then we have 8, 9, and 10. So that's it then. Well, and then there's a little story bit after 10. So I'm going to try, and I don't know if I will be able to 3-star the final, but the ZT-10 against the boss, but I'm still going to try. We'll still try to get that far and see how we can do it. And between looking at my strategy and watching some other strategies on YouTube and figuring things out, I'll be able to continue pushing through the gameplay. And then I'm going to use whatever sanity I can to farm as much as I can and get the event currency and buy whatever I can out of the shop. So we'll keep working forward, working towards these things and getting as much done as I can. But like I said, I've got limited time left to do it. But again, we just made it to a very, very emotional part too. And it's a hell of a journey for Viviana. And the fact that here she essentially had to lose something else yet again, someone else that she cared for because of Cora's actions and the things that she was doing in the background. There was something that it was one of those things where it's she had no other choice. She had to do it. And it's scary and it sucks because she lost yet another loved one. And Cora loved her like a daughter, and she appreciated Cora and the connection to her family. But it's one of those cases where it's a terrible thing to have gone through, period. But there's a lot to come yet, a lot of heavy story stuff coming. So we're going to try and do as much as we can to finish it. I've experienced it already, but there's some things actually going through it a second time, going through it on this account. It's really, really cool for me to experience and learn it and see it, just because there's things that I'm picking up on that I'm missing, that I missed the first time I played through. Even though I read it, it was just kind of one of those things where, kind of like watching a movie or something a second time through, and you pick up on a scene that maybe you missed, or a line that a character says. There's things that I'm getting that are helping to piece things together a little bit more, or that, again, that I missed. So is what it is. But guys, that is it for this episode. As always, if you want to help support, you can like the video. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoy Arknights, whatever the case is, you could like the video. It's going to help me to get it out there more. You can subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. That's going to be free for you to do, and it's going to help me to continue to grow and bring you more Arknights content and other stuff. And to top it off, if you guys want to buy me an operator, you can use the link in the description below, where you can go ahead and send a donation. Tell me what video you saw it on, or what link tell me what video you saw it on and where you donated from. And what I'll do is, in the future, I'll shout you guys out in a future Arknights episode of some sort, and we'll use that money towards either buying Originite Prime or one of the packs in the shop that will get us either headhunting certs or OP or whatever, just to be able to get some pulls and try to get some operators, thanks to you guys. As always, that's completely unnecessary, but it's up to you if you want to help. With that being said, that is it for this episode, guys, and I will see you in the next one.